Hello, this is Dave Gilbert, and welcome to the commentary track for the Blackwell Legacy. This is the voice you're going to be hearing babble at you throughout the course of the game, and if you ever get tired of me talking, or if I'm talking too much, or you just get sick of the sound of my annoying voice, you can just hit any key on the keyboard, and I will dutifully disappear and shut up. To start with, I guess I just want to thank you for purchasing the game. That's really cool of you. You're keeping me in coffee and stuff while I write these games. Bit of history, I guess. This game originally started as a freeware game way back when, 2002, 2003. It was a game called Bestowers of Eternity, and it was quite a bit different. It starred Rosa Blackwell, and it involved Joey to a lesser extent. And I never actually finished the game. It was never complete, but I released it anyway and slapped a really lame to be continued at the end, and kind of ended on a really bad, nasty cliffhanger, which had everyone really, really annoyed at me. But people really seemed to like the game, and so earlier this year when I was thinking about making episodic games, I thought about Bestowers, and I thought it was well suited to an episodic format because you have two characters that you could relate to, you could follow throughout a series, and there was a nice backstory that could be revealed over time, and since they were investigators, each game could be another investigation. So I thought that worked out well. So that's a bit of history for you. That's how this game got started and conceived. Anyway, I hope you enjoy the game, or rather, I hope you did enjoy the game, because I do recommend playing the game first, because I will be giving stuff away. So if you want to avoid evil spoilers and you haven't played the game, I suggest you turn this commentary off. Otherwise, click that new game button and we'll begin. Hi, this is Dave Gilbert. You have activated the 5 years later commentary track for Blackwell Legacy. It has been, obviously, 5 years since I released the game, and since I've been upgrading and revamping the game a little bit, I thought it would be a good opportunity to hop on the mic again and voice any additional thoughts now that so much time has passed and other Blackwell games have been released since I made this game. A little bit of warning, if you have the original commentary active, you're going to be hearing my voice a lot, so just to warn you. Other than that, I will be interrupting you as you play, so let's continue on. I made a very small change to this opening scene. Originally, Rosa walked in from off screen. She walked in from the right, stopped where she is now, and then she delivered her lines and tossed the ashes off. And I decided to change that and have it start with her already standing there looking out. It's a very minor change, but it's effective because now, originally, it was Rosa walks in, delivers her lines, and it just seemed very quick. She didn't take a moment to reflect. She just sort of walked in and did it. And this way, who knows how long she's been standing there looking out over the water. So it kind of gives it a little bit of a more softer edge. She's a little bit more reflective, and you sort of start in media res. You don't know why she's there. So it's just a very, very tiny change, and I've spent, all this time talking about it, but I think it was an effective one.
So, I guess this is it. Years of watching and waiting and hoping, and it comes down to this. Do I love you? Do I miss you? I don't know for sure. I hardly know you. But you're the closest thing to family I've got, and I suppose that's something. Goodbye, Auntie. Wherever you are.
This is, of course, the Brooklyn Bridge, which connects Brooklyn to downtown Manhattan. And what a view, man. What a view. What a great way to start the game off. You can't actually do what Rosa just did. There is a second level to the bridge below this one. So Rosa actually just poured her aunt's ashes onto oncoming traffic. But that's something I chose to ignore just because I love this view so much. And it was a nice way to open the game. The guy who drew this picture, his name is Chris Fimo. He's the second background artist who came on board kind of towards the end. Tom Scarry kind of got this demanding full-time job and wasn't able to do the exteriors, and I actually had to run out to the Brooklyn Bridge and take this picture because there wasn't I tried looking online for a nice reference picture, but it didn't have what I wanted. There were a lot of pictures taken of the bridge, but not a lot of pictures taken of the view from the bridge, so I actually had to trudge out there and take the picture, and Chris drew it from that. The guy who did all the sprites in the game, his name is Ian Schleffer. He did Rosa's walk cycle, and there's something really perfect about this walk cycle. She just walks, she's very kind of hesitant and aggressive at the exact same time. And I can't exactly pinpoint how it works, but it works. So, good work, Ian. I don't know how you did it, dude, but you did it.
What a morning. At least I'm home now.
Hi there.
Hi?
So who are you visiting today?
Oh, ha ha.
Seriously, who are you here to see? Can't let you in unless you tell me.
I live here?
No, you don't. I know everybody in the building. I don't know you.
Matt Gardner, playing the doorman here, is a guy from Arizona, this amazing cartoonist. He does a lot of these flash cartoons on Newgrounds. You should check him out. His username there is Wogoat, W-O-G-O-A-T, and he does these fantastically hysterical X-Men parodies. So if you're into X-Men, you should check that out. He does the voices for his own cartoons mostly. So I know he had good equipment. I know he could do voice acting. So when he offered to do a voice, I said, "Hey, yeah, sure, come on, check it out." He also did most of the sketches for the close-up photographs in this game. Yeah, so that's Matt.
Who the hell are you?
Jim Burdo.
All right, Jim. Where's the regular doorman?
Geez, where have you been? He's on strike.
He's what?
Strike. All the building servicemen in the city are doing it. Union rules or something. I stepped in to help because I know everybody.
How come nobody told me?
Notices were posted all over the building. I put them up myself. If you lived here, you'd have seen them.
Who pays attention to things like that?
Well, that's not my problem.
Really, I live here.
Nice try. I know everyone in this building, and I don't know you. Sorry.
I've lived here for 5 years.
Then how come I've never seen you before?
I have no idea. Doesn't matter.
If you lived here, I'd know you. That's all there is to it.
Please, I've had a really tough morning. I need to get home.
Sorry, lady. Rules are rules.
Listen, I really live here. 4th floor, number 4E.
4E. Isn't that apartment empty?
No, I live there, and I want to go there. Thank you very much.
Oh. Maybe you're telling the truth.
He sees reason, thank God.
You have any ID? A driver's license or something?
Yes, I have a driver's license. It's upstairs, in my desk drawer. Crap. Come on, this is New York. Who actually drives?
True, but I still can't let you in unless you prove you live here.
I have my apartment key. Will that do?
Sorry, no. That could be any key.
Well, let's go upstairs and see if it works.
And leave the door unattended? Can't do it. Sorry.
Out of my way. I'm going in.
I wouldn't do that.
Why? Are you going to stop me?
Me? No. But I've got a cell phone in my pocket with 911 programmed in. All I have to do is hit send and the cops will be here in 5 minutes.
Are you serious?
Totally serious.
I don't believe this. Okay, I have no ID, and you don't know me. What can I do to prove that I live here?
Well, can anyone in the building vouch for you?
I'm not sure. I mean, I don't really know anybody here.
How long have you lived here again?
Be quiet. Not all of us are social butterflies.
Okay, whatever. Hey, what about Nishanti Sharma? He could vouch for you.
Who is this Nish?
Nishanti Sharma. He lives in 4F, you know, right next door to 4E. You really don't get out much, do you?
Your point?
Nothing, but I'm sure she could vouch for you.
Great, call her up.
She's not here.
Of course she isn't. So I gotta wait here all day for her.
You might have to. Although, she usually goes to Washington Square Park in the mornings. You could look for her there.
How long is this strike going to last?
I don't know. Could be a couple hours or a couple days, depending on whether they reach a settlement or not. I don't know the details.
So, let me get this straight. You want me to go all the way to the park to look for a woman who might be there, and if she recognizes me, then, and only then, I'll be granted the privilege of entering my own home?
That's pretty much it, yeah.
This is really stupid.
I'm not the one who forgot my ID.
I'll be back.
See you around.
As I was upgrading this game, there was a real strong instinct and temptation to play George Lucas and change everything. And I resisted that. But this first puzzle and section would have been at the top of the list. I was worried that when I started this commentary, a lot of it would be me just going, what was I thinking, and apologizing a lot. And this is one of them. This was not the best way to kick off a series with this very arbitrary, very gamey puzzle. And at the time, my way of thinking was, well, she's this very socially recalcitrant person, and this is kind of a way of forcing her out into the world, which, yeah, as a character study, it works, but as a game, it's a very annoying puzzle. And it's the first thing you do in the game, you're told no. And one thing I've learned about game design and making games is that you want the first couple of actions to feel rewarding. And to feel, you want to feel good about the stuff you do. And here, there's just brick walls thrown at you no matter what you do, like within the first 2 seconds of playing. And that was bound to frustrate people. And I would have designed this completely differently if I could start over. But I didn't change it, because I think that would have been ridiculous to completely change everything. So I kept it as it was, and I'll apologize in this commentary. The map screen was hard to design because 3 of the locations were fairly close to each other, and one of the locations was far away. So it was hard to really come up with a good design for it. Originally, I just had this stupid little menu just for the beta testing stage. And then finally, E.L. Jammer, a graphic artist who came on board originally to do photographs. I'll talk about that later. But he offered to do extra stuff. And one of the first things I asked him to do, I said, hey, could you come up with a map screen? I'm totally stumped. And he came up with this design and these big icons that represent different areas, the locations you go to. And it works really well because the icons are big enough that the fact that one of the locations is farther away than the others, it didn't really matter so much. So I can't quite explain how it worked, but it does work, and I think it works well.
Washington Square. It's been a while since I've been here. Still looks the same, I guess. Although the dog park is empty. I wonder why.
This is a real place. Washington Square is a real park, and this dog park does exist, and it's usually a lot busier than it is than you see now. There are usually lots of little dogs running around, and I have lots of fond memories of this place. There was a dog, my friend's dog that I was looking after a few years ago, and I brought the dog to this dog park, and it was heck of a lot of fun just watching the dogs just run around. I made the mistake of bringing a breakfast sandwich with me one morning, and I was very popular with the dogs that day. Each Blackwell game has an area that is based in a real place, And this is obviously Washington Square Park, and this is the dog run in Washington Square Park. And it's funny how most of the locations that are based on real places, and I took care to like get photograph references for the artists, they have all changed since their debut in their game. This area of Washington Square Park is completely different now. The entrance is on the street side of the park. This area is all fenced off. They renovated the park last year, and it's for the most part it looks the same, but the dog run is completely different. So you can no longer go to the park and see this image, which is a shame. But you can play Blackwell and virtually walk through Washington Square of years past.
Now I'm getting a stress headache. I need to get home.
There is a slight selfish aspect to writing a game or a story or a film that takes place in a real-world location, especially when it's your hometown or your home city. And that is, you get to include locations that you really love. And this place, Washington Square Park, man, it's just... I love this place. It's right by NYU. You get all the kids there. You get all the kids, meaning college kids. You get all the political rallies, the musicians, just all sorts of life just flows through this place, and it's just a great place to go and hang out. You know, sometimes when things get busy or hectic, I would sit down on a bench. I'd look at this exact view that you're looking at now, just munch on a sandwich, drink a cup of coffee or something, and just watch the world spin by. This is my home right here, and I'm very happy that Chris Fimo managed to get it right. I really wanted to stress the fact that I wanted this to be accurate. That arch in the background, that fountain, they're so iconic to Washington Square Park and New York in general. So I'm glad I got to include this location.
That's her. I recognize her from my building. Nishanti Sharma, was it? This is going to be awkward.
This, again, is one of those moments I wish I thought a little bit more carefully about when I made the game 5 years ago. As a character study, I think it works really well. But a lot of people hated this moment, and I can't blame them. Here, Rosa's trying to speak to Nishanti, but she's too shy to interrupt her in front of all of these people. And that's a very Rosa thing to do. It's totally understandable. But as a gamer, as a player, wanting to do something and being told no, being told not by the environment, being told no, not by other characters or by the environment or even by the game, but by the character that you're playing. Your avatar is saying, no, I can't do this. I'm not going to do it. And it just creates this immediate disconnect between the player and the character that I think was a very bad thing. If I was redoing this now, I'd have come up with something different. It worked as a character study, and a lot of people liked that for what it was. But I think as a game device, as an actual game, I did think it failed. And so... Again, I was new. This is my first attempt at a commercial game, so hopefully I could be forgiven. So I want to give some advice to any of you budding adventure game designers out there who might conceive of using a dog and a dog leash in their game. I want you to heed my warning because and benefit from the value of my experience, because I want to tell you firsthand, this dog leash nearly killed me. And when I say it nearly killed me, I mean it nearly killed me. Because, holy crap, this dog leash would not do what it was supposed to do. It's a line that was drawn kind of on the fly using the engine from one point to another point. And I had to kind of using coding to tell the dog leash where to go. And holy crap, was this annoying. Either the dog leash would spontaneously disappear for a second or two, or it would draw itself above the dog's head, or it would be absolutely perfect, and then the dog would turn, and the dog leash would be in a totally different location. Once I got that right, getting the dog leash to work perfectly while the dog walked around that friggin' lamppost, that proved to be an incredibly daunting task. I mean, this dog leash, I hate this dog leash. I hate it so much. I want to take this dog leash, rip it up, set it on fire, take the ashes, put them in the dumpster, and then set fire to the dumpster, and then take those ashes and then step on them. Ugh, I hate you, dog leash. God damn it, I hate you. Wow, that felt really good. So dog leash, very hard.
Oh, for heaven's sake. Don't worry, Moti, I'm coming.
If you listened to the original commentary, you would have heard me rant about that dog leash and how hard it was to code. It plagues me even now, 5 years later, when I was upgrading this code. All of the commands that I used to create the dog leash 5 years ago are no longer used in the current version of the Adventure Game Studio engine. So all of that hard work that I did 5 years ago, all that ranting that you heard me do in the previous commentary, that was all for nothing, because I had to redo it all again. So I had to figure out new commands, a whole new way of doing things, because all those commands, those original commands, no longer work. So yeah, no more dog leashes.
There, all better. I can't take you anywhere, can I? Oh, it's you! The lady next door!
Yeah, hi.
Rhonda, isn't it?
No, Rosangela.
Well, Rosangela, I hope my friend here hasn't been giving you any trouble.
That's a cute dog you've got.
Isn't he just? Normally he behaves, but he seems to have taken a shine to you.
Oh, great.
Anyway, I don't think we've formally met. I'm Nishanti.
Rosangela.
So you said.
Oh, right.
Yes?
I have a strange favor to ask.
Go ahead and ask. What are neighbors for?
You know that building servicemen strike?
Yes. Jim Burdo is covering, isn't he?
Yeah, that's the problem, see. He doesn't recognize me.
Oh. So you need me to vouch for you?
Yeah, I know this is pretty stupid.
Don't worry about it. Moti is getting a little cranky anyway. Let's get you home.
Thanks.
Are you all right?
I'm fine, I just need to get home.
All right. Let's keep walking.
I mentioned earlier how Chris Fimo came on board kind of towards the end, and Tom Scarry had started to draw this picture, and I kind of implied that Chris, start with that and just finish it. But I gave him the reference picture, and then he said, could I just do it my way? Could I just do what I want? And I said, yeah, sure. I misunderstood. I thought he meant, could he do the picture his own way, kind of using the picture as a reference. He didn't realize that it was a real location. He thought I just showed him that picture just to show kind of what I had in mind. He didn't realize it was a real place. So when he ended up drawing the picture, thank God it was just an outline, he had a bridge in the background, he had, a river, he had this, it was just totally wrong. And I took one look at it, and it was just so detailed and so wonderful, and I just said, oh God, look, I'm sorry, this is great, but it's wrong, I'm sorry. And I told him it was a real place, and he didn't realize it was a real place, and it was this horrible misunderstanding, but he was a good sport about it. Thank God he just did an outline and didn't actually do the whole picture, because you see how beautiful this picture is, and it would have been a real shame if he had to do all that work for nothing.
Hello, Jim.
Hey, Miss Sharma.
Jim, this is Rosangela. She lives here.
She does? Okay. Sorry about earlier. Had to be sure.
Well, now you're sure. And you must be so proud of yourself.
Well,
Never mind. Just get out of my way.
we are.
Yes. Finally. That stupid kid.
Well, perhaps. But try not to be so hard on him. We're all neighbors after all.
Yeah, I guess.
Looks like somebody's hungry. I'd best get this spoiled puppy fed. Feel free to drop in any time you want.
Ruth Weber, the lady who is doing the voice of Nishanti here, you might recognize her from the Shiva, my previous game. She also played an Indian woman named Rajshri. And Ruth is not an Indian woman, in case you were wondering. It's just a coincidence. But in the Shiva, I had her do an accent. I had her do the Indian accent. And I learned my lesson. Not that Ruth was bad, far from it. It's just I felt that when I tell actors to do accents, they tend to focus a lot of their energy onto making sure the accent is right than into actually acting. And I decided here that Nishanti would not have an Indian accent. And I kind of wrote the character as someone who was very Americanized all of her life, and then later, when she got to be older, decided to reconnect with her Indian roots. So if she didn't have the accent, it was fine. And if there were some Indian culture things that I got wrong, it was okay, because Nishanti isn't an expert on Indian culture. She's just kind of reconnecting with it later in life. So she wears the sari, she plays the instrument, she's got some Indian decorations, but if it's not totally accurate, it's okay. So that was kind of an easy out, easy back door for myself.
I'll think about it.
No thinking needed. I know we New Yorkers don't usually talk to our neighbors, but who cares?
With this game, there's one thing I really wanted to get right above all things. It was to get the New York lifestyle, the New York attitude, the New York scene across well to you guys. I really wanted to show off the city, not just the architecture, it's beautiful, parts of it are beautiful, but also just the attitude. Rosa is a very New York-ish character, and what Nishanti says here is very, very true. Generally, we don't talk to our neighbors. I guess you can analyze it in many different ways, but if you're out there on the other side of the world, if you're Europe, Asia, India, Africa, wherever you might be playing this game, if you got a little taste of what New York was like through this game, then I was successful. I did what I really wanted to do.
The city can be a lonely place, especially when you live alone. I've got Moti. Who do you have?
Look, I know what you're saying, but I don't need anyone to look out for me. I'm fine.
Oh, I'm sure. No doubt. Although your episode in the park tells me otherwise. And your eyes. Well, let's just say the offer stands.
Sure.
You go home now. We'll see each other soon, Rosangela, I'm sure.
Hey.
Yes?
You can call me Rosa, if you like. Rosangela's kind of a mouthful,
That little cheesy grin is perfect. Perfect. I got that from Ian one day, and I just started placing it everywhere I could, because it captures this perfect combination of like awkwardness and confusion and like trying to you can't quite explain it. It's this like, I don't know how to react, so I'm just gonna smile awkwardly at you, and I like it. It really works out. Joey has something very similar, this really charming cheesy grin that I just kind of snuck in wherever I could. So and the beta testers actually, before I implemented Rosa's smile, they would always remark how Rosa seemed very cold and very harsh. Then I would stick that little smile in there, and suddenly they changed their minds. So it's the magic of smiling, people. It's a lesson we all should adhere to.
All right, Rosa.
This wasn't my intention when I originally wrote this line 5 years ago, but it sort of started a character trait or a character trend, is that whenever she meets someone, it's always, "Hi, I'm Rosangela." If she likes you, she'll say, "Call me Rosa." And that is the case with all the future Blackwell games. With Claude, she felt comfortable with Claude, so she said, "Call me Rosa." She said, "Call me Rosa" to Jeremy in Blackwell Deception. So that has become a very Rosa thing to do. When she likes you or she's comfortable with you, she'll say, "Call me Rosa." Otherwise, it's Rosangela all the way.
You have a good day now.
What a strange lady.
of the original background artists for this game. This is like full disclosure now. It's 5 years later, statute of limitations, whatever. He kind of disappeared like 3/4 of the way through the production process. And it kind of left me high and dry. And at the time, I was determined to get this done. I was so determined. I had gambled everything, all my savings. I was like not sleeping half the time. I was pretty insane. I'll talk more about that later, but I was pretty insane. Like I was, come hell or high water, I was going to be damned if I was not going to get this game out on the day that I said I was going to get it out. And this background artist who left, I think, almost all of the backgrounds in various stages of completion. So nothing was actually finished. And with like a month and a half to go, disappeared, gone, left no address or anything. And I had to really scramble. I burned through about like 4 or 5 other artists to finish this. And that's the main reason why in the original version of this game, there are not that many hotspot descriptions. I talked about that before, how I decided to go back and add more of them. And I was able to do that by bringing Rebecca in to re-record the lines. So it's just interesting now how I always had to scrabble for artists back then, and I don't really have to do that anymore. So it's interesting to see how that's changed over time.
Home, thank God. I've never been so happy to see a 500 square foot room in my life.
This room, strangely enough, is one of the most frequently seen rooms in the game, but it was the last one drawn. And when Tom Scarry, the background artist, he sent this to me, I'm just like, it's pink. And I have to admit, I never really thought much about what Rosa's apartment should look like. I always kind of imagined it as being very bare, with lots of books, and not a lot of personality. And the fact that he made the walls so colorful, he made it a lot more colorful than I kind of imagined that they should be. But I look at it now, and I kind of like it. Because I think that it's very important to establish Rosa's home as like her sanctuary. And it has to be comfortable. It has to be a place that you'd want to return to. Otherwise, she wouldn't want to be there all the time. And that kind of makes sense. And the fact that it's pink is kind of nice, because it gives Rosa a little bit more of a feminine quality, which she didn't really have before, because she's so standoffish that you don't really get a sense of her personality most of the time. So it's nice that she has, this colorful apartment that kind of shows a little bit more of her, and I thought that was very effective. So nice call, Tom Scarry.
Hello?
This is Dr. Quentin from Bellevue Hospital.
Yes?
I was your aunt's primary care physician. Did you receive my letter?
Yes, I received it. I haven't had the time to come by, though.
That's all right. I'm sure you're busy. However, should you find the time today, my entire schedule is free.
Sure. I'll keep that in mind.
Thank you. Good day.
If I don't visit him, he's just going to keep bothering me. I suppose I should just get it over with.
You just saw the lights flickering on and off. Originally, I had wanted to do that to kind of establish that the lights in this hospital were a little bit faulty, so the guard wouldn't get so crazy suspicious later on when the lights totally went off. And originally, this room had the lights flickering randomly as you wandered around, and I kind of liked that, although I realized when I started getting more graphical elements in, the door opens and shut, the guard fiddling with the antenna and all this stuff, that it just got to be much more complicated than I had originally wanted it to be, because the light levels wouldn't match. I do an animation for the door opening, but the door opening would be for the the lit room, and then the guard animating for the radio. That was also for the lit version of the room, and switching back and it just got way too complicated. And eventually I decided, forget it. I'll just have the lights flicker when the elevator doors open and shut. And in a way that kind of makes sense, because I used to have a printer, actually, that every time you printed something, the lights in my apartment would get dangerously dim and start flickering on and off. So this isn't entirely out of laziness. You can logically justify it, so I hope I can be forgiven.
Whoa! Hold on there. You want to go in, I gotta clear you first.
I'm here to see Dr. Quentin.
Uh-huh. Is he expecting you?
I've got this letter right here.
Okay, looks legit. Go right in. His name's on the door, you can't miss it.
Francisco Gonzalez, you might recognize from Shiva. He did the voice of the detective in Shiva, and now he plays another sort of law enforcement guy. He plays the hospital rent-a-cop. And he was very patient. Francisco was very, very patient with me because I kind of waited until like the very, very end to send in the script because I wanted to kind of make sure I had everything in place in the script Bible. And of course, as being disorganized, I had left, about 6 or 7 lines out of it, and I would email him in a panic and like, hey, here are the lines, and so he would dutifully send them back like by the next day. He'd re-record, and he did a great job. He's easy to work with. He does great work, and he writes great games too. He has a series of games called Ben Jordan, Paranormal Investigator. He goes under the name Grundislav Games. He calls himself Grundislav on the internet. I think he's up to number 6 or 5 or 7 in the series. He's so prolific, it's very hard to keep track. So Ben Jordan, Francisco Gonzalez, Grundislav Games. Check him out.
Thanks.
Come in.
Dr. Quentin?
Yes?
I'm Rosangela Blackwell.
Oh, hello. Come in. Come in.
Dr. Quentin, who I now should call Dr. Backstory or Dr. Exposition. Again, another what was I thinking and apology moment. Rosa has a very complicated backstory. She's got her aunt and grandmother and all that stuff, and that needed to be related to the player in some way. And I did that through this doctor and the letters later. I'll talk about those letters later. And I think this was a really bad way of handling it. The one thing I've learned over 5 years of making these games is that info dumps, especially big info dumps like this, are bad. Number one, they're boring, especially in an adventure game like this, because the characters don't move or do anything. So having all that information being thrown at you when there's nothing interesting to capture your attention, it's just bad design. And also, so much information is being thrown at you during this very boring thing, so you're not processing it very well, and you miss it all. So if I could redo things, if I could be George Lucas, which I'm not going to do, I would have figured out a way to parcel all this information out a little better over the course of the game, so the player could have processed it better, which I didn't do 5 years ago when I made this game. I have learned since then. I make a point of not doing this now when I make games. Again, my first game, I apologize.
You got my letter, I trust.
Yes, I did.
Good. My condolences on the loss of your mother.
You might recognize the voice of the doctor as the same guy who did the voice of Rabbi Zelig in the Shiva. And the guy behind the voice, his name is Joe Rodriguez, and I know him from my improv group. And Joe is such a funny guy. Man, this guy, he's so funny. I can't even explain how. He's just really funny. But he's got this great baritone, as you can hear. And I wanted the doctor to have this kind of very calm, maybe even slightly clinical but deep voice, and I knew Joe would be perfect. And so he lives kind of far away from me, very far. He lives in Connecticut. I live in New York, and so I knew he'd be perfect. But I know he actually has professional equipment in his house, so he could do all the voices from his house. And he is such a good actor, I didn't have to worry about having to constantly be on hand to direct him. So I was willing to kind of let him do his own thing. And if I really wanted something to change, I would tell him. But I never had to ask him to change anything because everything was perfect. Joe could nail it every single time without any direction. So yay, Joe! Joe is awesome. And if Joe does not make it in the world of voice actoring, then That's a crime. That's a big crime. So best of luck, Joe.
Thanks. My aunt is at peace now, wherever she is.
Ah, quite right, quite right.
So you wanted to talk to me about something?
Yes, I did. But before we go into that, how are you holding up?
I'm fine.
That's good to hear. You received the ashes?
Yes, I scattered them this morning.
I imagine you must miss her.
To be honest, I'm not sure what to feel. It's not like I knew her, or even remember her from before. She's like a stranger.
So why did you make it a point of visiting her all those years?
She was the only family I had. I guess I felt an obligation, like I had to.
And now that you don't have to?
Rosa is not sappy about her family. She's very realistic. She kind of pushes those feelings away. And a lot of the beta testers noted the fact. They said, hey, Rosa is such a bitch about her aunt. I mean, holy crap, she's just so mean. And this was totally done on purpose. She doesn't always necessarily think what she says. The doctor is trying to invade her personal space, and she kind of retaliates by saying this really nasty stuff, and she knows it's nasty, and she's really just trying to get a reaction out of him. It's just this very neurotic thing that she's doing. Because Rosa does care. She visited her aunt every week. You'll see later on she asks Joey many questions about her aunt. She wants to know about her. She wants to know about her family. But up until now, it was something that was always denied to her. So she was always very realistic and doesn't like to dwell on those feelings because nothing would ever come of them. So she kind of just shoved it away and pretended that it didn't bother her. So that's really the essence of who Rosa is at this moment in time. And if she does act like a bit of an ice queen, that's totally on purpose.
What do you want me to say? Auntie's dead, life goes on.
So you'll just keep living, is that it?
Yes.
Keep writing your little book reviews in the paper, right?
You know about those?
It's hardly a secret. A number of the staff have read them, yes.
I didn't think a West Village paper would interest anyone up here.
I have to be honest, Miss Blackwell. The staff read them because they were more interested in you.
Okay, I am this close to leaving. Why am I here?
Their intentions were purely benign, I assure you. It was your aunt they were primarily interested in. They wanted to know more about her family, and you proved to be, shall we say, less than eager to comply.
That's their problem.
Indeed. It was your choice to make. Your aunt was an interesting case. And now that she's gone, I was hoping you'd be more forthcoming with me. Just an informal chat. We can discuss her condition. And yours too, of course.
The music here, if you pay attention, is a very subtle ticking noise. And I was told later on that it's a cool noise, but it was also a reference to the original, a very subtle reference to the original Bestowers of Eternity, where you had to do a really, really awful puzzle, and for that I'm sorry, involving a stopwatch, with an alarm clock. You had to. I'm going to give away the puzzle here because it was so bad that it's not giving anything away. Where you had to lie down on the doctor's couch and he hypnotized you, and he would leave the room. And in order to wake up while the doctor was still out, you'd have to set your stopwatch to wake you up while the doctor was out. It was a really horrible puzzle, and I did not include that in this game, not by a long shot. It was so awful. I'm sorry about that. I really am sorry about that original horrible puzzle. I like to pretend the original Bestowers never existed. I have to be totally honest. A lot of people tell me that it was the best thing I did, and God, I hope not. I really hope not. I look at that now, and I just wince. I hope I managed to redeem myself with the Blackwell legacy. That's another reason why I changed the title. I just don't want to be associated with Bestowers of Eternity anymore. But anyway, yeah, the music, clock ticking reference. Yeah.
You never could find out what was wrong with her, huh?
No, we didn't. But she still remains a fascinating case.
Fascinating. I don't understand.
Forgive me, I speak from a purely professional perspective. I didn't know your aunt personally.
Neither did I, but fascinating?
It might come as a surprise to you, but yes.
But she was practically catatonic. All she did was lie there for 20 years. She'd sometimes twitch or mumble something incoherent, but I wouldn't call that fascinating.
Well, As you know, she wasn't exactly catatonic. We kept her sedated.
Right, she had outbursts.
Yes, and we had to sedate her heavily to keep her calm, especially in preparation for your visits.
What are you trying to say?
Miss Blackwell, we are not a nursing home. We're not content to merely keep a patient comfortable. We are, after all, in the healing profession. We were trying to heal your aunt, and to do that, we had to speak to her.
Wait, you spoke to Auntie.
We tried to.
Did she answer back?
After a fashion, yes.
If Auntie spoke, why wasn't I told?
Miss Blackwell, do you remember what brought your aunt here in the first place? Her screaming, her hitting herself?
I was only 5 years old at the time, but I kind of remember.
In order to prevent her from doing harm to herself or to others, we were forced to sedate her. When we limited her medication, she simply reverted to her former state. Her natural state, I'm sorry to add.
What did Auntie say?
Nothing that made any sense. But one thing was clear. She was in great pain.
Pain? What kind of pain?
It's difficult to say, but it was immense.
How immense?
When we reduced her medication, the transformation was dramatic. Her eyes flew open, she thrashed, her screams. Well, we had to gag her eventually.
My God.
I know.
Did she still feel it when she was sedated?
We don't know. There's no way of knowing.
25 years.
I know.
Poor Auntie. Wait, what do you mean by my condition?
Hereditary dementia is my specialty, Miss Blackwell. And in my opinion, there is significant cause for concern.
Sorry, did you say hereditary?
Yes, 2 generations. Your aunt and your grandmother before her.
My grandmother?
Yes, Patricia, I think her name was, right?
I never knew my grandmother. Auntie Lauren was it. There was nobody else. She couldn't exactly provide me with a family history.
Oh, I see. I had no idea.
Well, maybe you should have. Did anyone else come in to visit her besides me?
No, you are correct. I should have read the family history more carefully. I do apologize. I just assumed. Well, never mind. It doesn't change the fact that you should be concerned as well.
Go on.
Patricia Blackwell suffered her mental collapse at the age of 55. Lauren Blackwell underwent hers at the age of 40.
What are you saying? That the same thing is going to happen to me?
No, I'm saying that there is significant cause for concern.
So, I had a grandmother.
Apparently so.
How do you know about her?
It was in your aunt's case history when she was brought to us. Patricia Blackwell's symptoms were the same, word for word. Patricia's case was severe, and she was young, but it was chalked up to being an ordinary case of dementia. Until
Until it struck her daughter.
Until 20 years later, when it struck her daughter, yes.
It seems impossible.
Perhaps it's genetic, but we've detected no abnormality.
So what should I do?
Right now, nothing. This type of thing is unprecedented. There is no procedure to go through, no medication I can give you. I just want you to be aware, is all. And come talk to me if, well, there's any concern.
You couldn't find any other link between the 2 cases.
None, aside from the family connection. And a name.
A name? What name?
The documentation we had on your grandmother is minimal, but there was one interesting item noted. During her more lucid moments, she uttered the name Joey. Your aunt, too, would cry out that name on occasion.
Joey?
Yes.
Who's Joey?
We've been wondering the same thing for 25 years.
Is there anything else you need to tell me before I go?
Your aunt had some personal effects in storage. As the next of kin, you're the beneficiary. It's just a folder, some documents and so on. It's being sent to your address via messenger.
Oh, well, thanks for that.
It's no problem at all. Goodbye, Miss Blackwell. My schedule is fairly open now, so feel free to drop in anytime. I'm always happy to discuss my favorite patient.
Sure. Did you have contact with Lauren Blackwell while she was here?
Nope. Doesn't ring a bell. She was in temporary care?
No, she was in long-term.
That's a whole different floor. This is the floor for temp patients.
I see. So what exactly happens here on the temporary ward?
It's just that. Temporary. Most insurance plans only cover a 2-week stay, so this floor is designed for a high turnover rate. That's why the doctor's offices are usually down here. They need to be on hand when the new patients arrive.
What's with the lights?
Hey, old buildings, you know? Always got problems. If the plumbing ain't broken, the lights are on the blink. It's giving me a headache, let me tell you.
Thanks.
Uh-huh.
Looks like it's from Bellevue.
I guess I could talk a little bit more about the creation of this room. I mentioned earlier how Tom Skerry drew the room, which isn't entirely true. Chris Fimo actually drew a lot of it as well. Tom Skerry drew the basic outline. He did the walls, the kitchen, the table, the shelf, the computer desk, and all that. And then Chris Fimo came along, and after Tom Skerry became too busy to finish, Chris Fimo added so many extra details. He kind of took what he knew about Rosa. He created that bulletin board for her newspaper clippings. He put the teddy bear up there, which is a reference to one of my earlier games. I kind of wanted that there. He added the bedroom behind the door. He added the plants, which I totally wasn't expecting. I never thought of Rosa as a plant girl. So I included a message saying they were fake. That's more of a Rosa thing. He added all those books. He added the notebook there. He added the couch and the table. The end table, so I had to redo all the walkable areas. So yeah, thanks, Chris. But he really helped make the room come alive. So good job, man. When I created the original freeware Bestowers of Eternity in 2002, was it 2003? Gosh, it was a while ago. Anyway, people told me that the letters that Rosa reads was their favorite part of the game. Actually, it seemed to be the thing that made the game. I wonder if I didn't put those letters in there, if people would have liked it so much. But I hope that it's just as effective in Blackwell Legacy, even though I kind of moved the focus away from Rosa and her family to the case that Rosa's working on, if only because the backstory is now so much bigger and so much better that it's going to take a while to get to it. So I kind of wanted to give you a little taste of the backstory now, and then in the future you'll see more. So hopefully you're not kept in total suspense, but in the meantime, this is a bit of Rosangela Blackwell backstory that you get for now. I'm afraid this is another what was I thinking and I'm sorry moment. I don't know why I thought making the player read through 25 pages of old letters was a good idea, but apparently I did, and I can only apologize for that. This was horrible design, and I'm being really overly critical with myself. But, I was 5 years ago. It doesn't seem like that huge amount of time, but I feel like I've learned a lot since then, because I look at this now and I'm like, what? Why did I do that? And I thought about editing these letters down. But in the end, I kept them because I do like them. I think that the story they tell is quite compelling. And if you go on to play the next game in the series, a lot of the things you learn in these letters come to play there. So I kept them. But if I, again, could do this all over, I would have done it a lot differently. You'll notice here that it's signed Jack and not Jacko. This was sort of my little way of showing that Jack was growing up. This was his turning point. He's no longer Jacko. He's now Jack. This has changed his life. He's a totally different person, blah, blah, blah. It's a subtle thing, but hopefully it got through to some people.
There are some pictures stuck to the back of this letter. Hello?
Rosangelina, hi.
Hi, Bob.
Thanks so much for submitting your last review on time. For once.
Yeah.
I've got a little assignment for you today.
Assignment?
Human interest, Blackwell. Suicide. College girl named Joanne Sherman.
That's awful, but...
You know the Brittany house, the NYU dorm?
Yes, but...
Speak to some people on her floor. Get a word in with the roommate.
Listen.
Speak to the RA too, and hey, see if you can score a picture of the girl.
But I don't do that stuff. I write book reviews.
Versatility. Time to get out of your comfort zone. Jeremy's over at City Hall covering that strike, so you are it. Get cracking.
I have a blog, like most people do these days. You can find it linked off of the Wadjedi Games website. And there was an entry I wrote about a year and a half ago where I talked about how I learned not to write such lengthy dialogues. And I used Blackwell Legacy as an example of when I wrote really lengthy dialogues. And I decided to take one of the dialogues from Blackwell Legacy, transcribe it, and rewrite it. I said, this is how I would write it now. And I used this conversation between Rosa and her boss as the example. And the original conversation was about like 45 lines or something like that. It was really long. And it was even especially more boring because you don't see the other character. The other character's on the phone. And then on the blog, I edited it down to like maybe 16 lines instead. And I said, well, you know, this is how I would do this if I was redoing the game. And since I am redoing the game, I decided, well, why not use that revamped dialogue? So I did. This is the one place I really edited heavily. There's other parts of the game where I cut lines, but this is the only place where I edited them. And I think it's a lot tighter and cleaner as a result.
I hate him so much. Is freelancing for that stupid paper even worth it? Well, I guess it keeps me writing, but oh, whatever. I'll just go over there and get it done. It's not like I don't have enough death in my life right now. Maybe this isn't a bad thing. It's like being a real reporter, sort of. My old notepad should come in handy for this.
All right, new option on the menu. Yeah, you just got the notebook. One of the things people really seem to like about the Shiva, and they kind of praised me for being original, was the notebook, was the notes interface, the clues interface, how you'd use clues as inventory, and they praised how awesome and original that was. I want to deny this, because I feel that credit should be given to Discworld Noir. The third game in the Discworld series, which is a beautiful noir adventure, and it actually inspired me to create mystery adventure games. And the Discworld Noir had clues as inventory. They did it first, not me. So I want to give those guys credit. So just all that credit you're giving to me, give it to Discworld Noir. They deserve it.
All I know about Joanne is that she was an NYU student who killed herself. My boss asked me to find a photograph of Joanne to put it in the paper. Maybe there's a connection, but I can't see it. That's definitely Auntie Lauren. She's looking at something off camera. I wonder what it was. I assume that's my mother. She sort of looks like me, I guess. Other than that, she's a total stranger. Is that my dad? He looks so young. I always pictured my dad as being older. Ugh. I feel like hell and I have to interview college kids. Hopefully this won't take too long.
Peter Gresser did the music for this game, and I figure this is a good time to talk about him because this is my favorite tune of the whole game, the one that you will listen to in this room, this crazy electronica stuff. He did the music for Shiva, and I think he really went all out with this game. He really kind of he made it more the music more unified, and it's really cool. It's this kind of very mystical electronica soundtrack, which I wasn't expecting. I was not expecting this electrical synth stuff, and I think it kind of works because it does kind of give you that feeling of uneasiness and something's kind of not right, which I kind of dug. And Peter is a great musician. You should check out his MySpace page. I linked to it on the Wow Jedi website. You can go there because I don't remember it off the top of my head. But yeah, Peter Gresser, he's really good. If you ever need music, you should check him out.
Can I talk to you for a few minutes?
Are you with a newspaper or something?
Yeah.
Oh, this is about Joanne, isn't it?
You know her?
Well, I am the RA for this floor. I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't know everybody. The campus police found her around 5 a.m. this morning.
Can you tell me about her?
Well, alright. But could you leave my name out of it?
That shouldn't be a problem.
Good. Joanne's parents have already asked the dean to fire me. I don't need anyone else knowing who I am. What do you want to know?
What can you tell me about Joanne? What was she like?
I never hung out with her socially, but she seemed nice enough. Nobody ever complained about her. She always had friends around her. She never had any trouble, as far as I know. Her suicide came as a total surprise.
Can you tell me anything about Joanne?
She jumped off the roof. She died instantly. It was in the middle of the night. There was no way anybody could have stopped her. Make sure you print that.
Would you have a picture of Joanne?
A picture? No. Why would I?
Just asking. So how did you get to be an RA of this floor?
What do you mean?
Well, it's a girl's floor, and you, well...
Aren't?
Yes.
Well, it's like this. Someone at the registrar thought Adrian was a girl's name, so here I am.
None of the girls have complained?
Not yet. They seem to prefer it. This sort of thing happens quite frequently. You'd be surprised.
Well, that's all for now. Thanks for helping out.
Just remember, leave my name out of it.
It's funny listening to Roses agree not to use his name in the article because I had forgotten all about that. And if you play Blackwell Convergence, the next game that stars Rosa, the article that Rosa wrote is on her wall, and you can read it, and it says right there in the article, Adrian Tucker said that blah, 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 blah. And I didn't even realize this at the time, but it's just kind of funny that Rosa did end up using his name, so I guess she's not the most ethical of journalists.
Just a bunch of notices. Guitar lessons, study groups, stuff like that. Looks like a fire alarm. The sign says Sandy Chen and Sonata Mounier. The sign reads Amanda Fay and Karen Schreier. It's a drinking fountain. The sign says Kelly Hawthorne and Joanne Sherman. The sign says Shelley Shenoy and Sarah Elmale.
Yeah?
I admit that this section I was a little worried about. You're suddenly told by a character you've never heard of to go to a location you've never been to and talk to characters that you've never heard of about the death of another character you've never heard of. So it was kind of, I was worried it was very sudden and very jarring to suddenly kind of shift gears entirely. And whenever this was beta tested, when I would give it to a new beta tester, the first thing I would always ask them when they got significantly far is, did this seem strange? Did this seem jarring? And no one seemed to mind. No one said anything. So I kind of took a step back and I said, okay, I guess it's fine. If these guys, these very strict anal beta testers, believe me, these guys are picky. If they didn't say anything, then I'd like to think it's okay.
Hi, I'm Rosangela Blackwell.
Am I supposed to know you?
No, I'm with the Village Eye.
The Village what?
The Village Eye, the newspaper.
I've never heard of it.
It's for sale in the stand just outside your dorm. You must have seen it.
Well, I haven't. What do you want?
I'd like to talk to you about your roommate, if that's all right.
Jesus Christ. I'm busy with midterms. I told the campus police everything. Do you have to bother me?
Look.
So she killed herself. Big whoop. Why is that my problem?
I only want a few minutes.
I don't care. I'm busy. I don't care about what you want, and I could care less about Joanne. Just go.
You don't care? Not even a little bit?
No, I don't. Why the hell should I? For that matter, why should you?
Will you please calm down?
Calm down? Who the hell do you think you are?
Look, just tell me a little bit about Joanne and I'll leave. Please.
Fine. You want to know about Joanne? She's dead. She couldn't take the pressure, so she jumped off the roof.
Did Joanne act unusual before she died?
Nope. Same old Joanne. Studied at her desk all day and slept all night, as usual. Quiet as a little mouse.
Is there anything else you can tell me about Joanne?
No.
Do you have any thoughts on why Joanne would kill herself?
Nope. Just another kid who couldn't hack it.
Do you have a photograph of Joanne that we could use for the newspaper?
You want a what?
Just a photograph. You'll get it right back.
Yeah, right. You think I'm giving you anything? Think again.
Can you tell me anything about Adrian?
The RA? He's okay. He helps us out when we need it and keeps out of our way when we don't. It's the way it should be.
Can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Why do you want to know?
Just background info for the paper.
I don't think so.
Suit yourself. Joanne never had trouble sleeping.
How would I know?
You lived with her.
Like I pay attention.
So Joanne was a good student.
Yeah, sure, whatever.
Thanks for helping out.
Yeah, sure, whatever.
Hi, it's me again.
You have more questions, I imagine?
Yeah, is that okay?
I suppose so. What do you want to know?
What can you tell me about Joanne's roommate?
Kelly? Have you met her?
Yes.
Quite a sight, huh? But don't judge her by that. She's the sharpest kid you'll ever meet. She gets straight A's on everything.
Really?
Yep, she's pre-med.
Do you know if Joanne had any trouble sleeping?
I'm afraid I wouldn't. Her roommate, Kelly, never complained, but that's not surprising.
Why is that?
Well, Kelly rarely spent the night in her room. She only comes here to study, as far as I've seen.
I prided myself on hiring actors for most every role in this game, but the guy playing Adrian here, his name is Thomas Tucker. He is the only professional voice actor, and you can tell just by listening to him. You will hear no breath pops. You will hear everything is pitch perfect. He kind of sat down and did it and knew exactly how to breathe. And I actually, I probably, and if obviously I'm thinking of doing this, and by the time this is released, if I decided to, I would have already have done it. Having his voice over the raw voiceover footage, I don't know if you can call it footage, but yeah, all that, available for people to listen to, because I think for games especially, people don't know how to direct voice actors, and I'm learning. I've learned a lot through the process, but I'm still learning, and there's so much to do with breathing and breathing in the right spot. And Thomas was really good about that. Whenever he would say a line, he would just go and hold in the breath and then say the line, and then he would breathe. Like, he would just be so aware of his breathing, because it sounds really ugly when you don't breathe correctly. And I know that I wasn't always successful in getting the actors to breathe correctly throughout the course of this game. So Thomas was awesome, and you could tell it's a shame he got one of the smallest roles in the game. If had I known he was such a pro, I would have given him a larger role. I wouldn't have given him Joey because Abe's Joey, but I would have given him somebody else. But definitely, watch out for Thomas in future games, because he's definitely going to stick around. Because when you find a good thing, you don't get rid of it. So yeah.
Was Joanne a good student?
I don't think she had any problems, but of course, the pressure can get to anybody.
Do you know where Kelly was sleeping?
No, it's not my place to ask.
Well, that's all for now. Thanks for helping out.
Just remember, leave my name out of it.
Wait a minute. Something isn't right. If Kelly's been spending her night somewhere else, how can she know if her roommate was sleeping well or not? I think Kelly was lying to me.
This notebook thing has become a Blackwell staple since it was introduced here. It has its drawbacks, unfortunately. The major problem with it, and it's taken me a while, and I still haven't quite worked out the kinks 4 games later. The biggest problem with it is that it's not a very intuitive way to go through a game. You make a connection in your head, and you just naturally assume that the character on screen has made that same connection. But no, you have to go into that notebook interface, connect the clues there in order for the character you're playing to make the same connection. And inevitably, with every single Blackwell game that has this interface, the places where people get stuck are the places where you have to combine clues. Without fail, that's where people inevitably get stuck. If they get stuck, it's there. And it's funny, so when I got to Blackwell Convergence, the 3rd game in the series, I decided to remove the clues interface completely, and there was a bit of a backlash. People really missed being able to combine clues. It was really surprising, because I just thought the system was so broken, but people really missed it. So for Blackwell Deception, the 4th game in the series, I brought it back, and I kind of fine-tuned it a bit, so it was a little bit more intuitive to use. It still has some problems, but I do like the system, because it's it's really appropriate for a mystery game. Rather than having to use inventory on stuff, you're using clues and information. So for a mystery type game, it works really well. It's not terribly intuitive, even after 4 games of using it, but I still think it works really well in terms of solving a mystery.
Yeah?
Your RA told me that you haven't been sleeping in your dorm.
Yeah, so?
You told me that Joanne slept in her room every night.
So?
How would you know Joanne slept here if you've been sleeping somewhere else?
Huh? Oh, well, I just assumed.
Did you lie to me?
I didn't lie. No, screw it. You want to talk? Fine. What do you want to know?
So what was Joanne really like?
To be honest, there's nothing to say. She was studying political science, which is kind of cool, I guess. She was so vanilla.
Vanilla?
You know, sweet, but not much there. Just a typical college kid. Acted just like everybody else. She seemed proud of it.
Did Joanne act unusual before she died?
Well, no. Although the last few weeks she's been talking in her sleep.
What did she say?
No idea. Couldn't understand her. She swore up and down that she wasn't doing it. She looked a bit scared, though.
Scared? How so?
Just scared. I didn't need the drama, so I've been sleeping at my boyfriend's place.
So you weren't here when she...
Killed herself? No, I wasn't here. Not that it would have made much of a difference. Are we done?
I could really use a photo of Joanne, if you have one.
Alright, just a sec. This was hers. It was on her desk. She won't be needing it anymore. Joanne's the girl on the left.
You might have heard me earlier say that I don't like accents. Or rather, I prefer not to work with them. But the girl playing Kelly here, her name is Chen Young-shu. She's a really versatile actress. I originally had her in mind for the role of Allie, which is the sad, lonely ghost that you'll see later on. And I hope you've played through the game already, because that's not the only thing I'm going to be giving away. But I said to Chen, I said, hey, you're perfect for Allie. I know you can do that, but it's such a small role, and I just felt like I was wasting her. And I said, hey, how do you feel about doing two characters? And I gave her the script for Allie, and she read it. And kind of as a joke, at one point, she read it in this tough Brooklyn's Queens accent. And I said, hey, that's awesome. Let's do it that way. Because I figured with the accent, it would really differentiate between the two roles. And admittedly, my experience with accents has not been great. As I said earlier, people tend to focus more on getting the accent right than into acting. And I had the same problem here. And this is no fault of Chen's. She originally did not really want to do the accent. She was originally trying to go for this kind of goth girl thing. But I'm like, no, do the accent. I kind of really insisted on it because I wanted the two characters to sound different. And so I insisted to do the accent, but don't put too much effort into it. Just kind of make it there. Like, don't worry about being authentic. It's just kind of let it come, but speak naturally. And I think it did a good job. I put the two voices together just as a test, and they sound pretty different. And the characters are so different that I don't think the beta testers didn't seem to mind. No one seemed to mind. So I think it worked. So, yeah, if anyone needs a lady voice actress, get in touch with me. I'll get you in touch with Chen because she's awesome.
Thanks.
It's funny listening to that character Kelly now because back then in the dark ages of 2006, I was very new to everything. I was new to VO recording, and I didn't even think about breath pops. And breath pops meaning stuff like this, when you talk too close to the mic and your breath ruins stuff you say. I never thought about that. I never thought about trying to avoid them or even minimizing them or editing them out in post-production. I didn't do any of that. And so I just left them all in. And I just now, after 5 years and like 8 or 9 games of doing VO, I've become a lot more skilled in listening for breath pops during recording and removing them in post. But now, listening to all this, I think Kelly is a particularly bad offender. And later, I think the Deacon also breathes a lot into the mic. If only actors didn't need to breathe, things would be so much easier.
Thanks for helping out.
Yeah, sure, whatever.
This is getting worse. At least I have enough for the story now. I'd better get home.
If you played the original version of this game, you might have noticed one small change is that the fonts look a little different. And it was a quirk of the old version of the engine. The game was, it's 320 by 240 resolution, which might seem small, and it is, but the engine can double, triple the graphics up to fit your monitor. But back then, there was this trick where you could trick the engine into displaying high-resolution fonts even in a low-resolution game. So I was able to have nice-looking fonts for most of the dialogue and everything in the game. Unfortunately, that loophole, that trick, no longer works in the current version of Adventure Game Studio. So I had to go with each of the 3 games, which all used high-res fonts. I had to go and find low-resolution fonts for everything, and which kind of seemed weird. For an upgrade, I had to downgrade all the fonts, and it's a little disappointing because they're not as nice and crisp and clear as they used to be, but there was no way around it. There was absolutely no way to display high-res fonts in a low-res game in the newest version of AGS, so sorry about that. There's nothing that could be done.
This is getting bad. Oh my God. This really hurts. Sleep, that's all I need. I'll just type up the story and get to bed. Shouldn't take that long. Right. No more interruptions. Done. Article's finished, picture is scanned, and I am done for the day. No. What's... I need fresh air. I've got to get out of here.
Way back when I completed the freeware version of Shiva in June, end of June 2006, it wasn't long before I got an email from a guy named E.L. Yammer, an Israeli graphic artist, and he asked me, he said, "Hey, I like your work, and if you ever need artwork done, I'd be happy to help you out." And this is, I love getting letters like this, it's always great when talented people want to help me, because my art sucks. If anyone has played my old freeware games where I did the art, you can tell my art sucks. And so EJ, I saw his work, and he did that, if you look at the Wadjedi site, you'll see that promotional picture for Shiva, and it's beautiful, that Rabbi Stone looking over the New York skyline like that, and he came on board the Blackwell train when another artist who was originally going to do these close-up pictures here, Matt Gardner, who I talked about earlier, was going to sketch them, and this other artist was going to color them. He turned out to be too busy, so he bailed, and I sent a letter to EJ. I said, "Hey, could you do this? Could you help us out?" And he said, "Sure." So I sent him Matt's sketch, and within 2 days he had this done, and it's beautiful. I mean, look at this. This is just amazing. And this picture itself, I really wanted to, I don't really mention it, and I hope you get it, because I kind of hammer this home a lot, is that, Rosa earlier poured the ashes off of Brooklyn Bridge, and here's a picture of her and her aunt on Brooklyn Bridge. That's like the only connection she has with her aunt is the bridge. So they return to the bridge many times. That's sort of a reoccurring thing, the Brooklyn Bridge, because that's the only memory, only thing Rosa has of her aunt. So I hope you got that. I hope you got that. I hope it wasn't too subtle, or too obvious for that matter. But anyway, E.L. Yammer, Israeli graphic artist. Awesome guy, amazing work. He single-handedly saved the project. He just did so many little things. He did the graphic interface, he did all the inventory items, he did the map screen, he did so many little details that no one else had time to do, and he just did such amazing stuff. So thank you, Mr. EJ. You did an awesome job.
It's a photograph of Auntie Lauren and me. It's me. I look scared out of my mind. I don't remember when this picture was taken, but I look about 4 or 5 years old. Auntie Lauren. She took care of me after my parents died. For most of my life, Auntie Lauren was a vegetable, slowly rotting away in a hospital bed. I don't remember what she was like before that. This picture is all I have to go by.
Come in. Hello, Rosa. Come in, come in. Don't mind the pooch, he's harmless.
I often make a big thing about how I'm more professional with VO recording now, because I used to have this headset mic that I just gave the actors, but now I have a Blue Yeti USB mic, and it's all professional, and the sound quality is so much better, and the actors can stand up and project, and I'm all professional and stuff with my VO recording. But when Rebecca was recording Rosa, there was this one session where the Occupy Wall Street folks decided to march past my window. And normally my apartment's pretty quiet, but not that day. So occasionally, if you are wearing headphones and have the volume up really high, you might be able to hear while Rosa's talking the sound of sirens or bullhorns or things like that. So, you know, I'm not as professional as I'd like to be sometimes.
Let me guess, you're hungry again? Go get it.
I mentioned earlier that I looked after a dog, my friend's dog, for a week, and I took the dog to Washington Square Park. That dog was a Boston Terrier, and that dog's name was Cooper, and then the owner's name was Sarah. And I really based Nishanti's relationship with Moti, which means pearl in Hindi, by the way. I based that relationship on Sarah's relationship with Cooper. And I love Boston Terriers. Ever since I looked after Cooper, I just become obsessed with these little squishy-nosed guys. And everything, all the little tricks that Moti does here, Cooper does the exact same thing. The whole go-get-it thing, Sarah did the exact same thing. She'd hold out the treat, the dog would beg, and she'd say, go get it! And the dog would just snap the treat right up. So I totally based that on Cooper. And, people and their dogs. I happen to be allergic, so I cannot actually own a dog permanently. But that's all right. Allergies won't stop me from putting a dog in a game. So I can live vicariously through my games and have a dog that way. Not quite like the real thing, but it's the closest I'm ever going to get.
That's Nishanti Sharma, my next-door neighbor, apparently. I was just, in the neighborhood, so I thought I'd drop by.
Sure, anytime.
Thanks again for helping me out earlier. I'd probably be sleeping in a hotel tonight if it weren't for you.
Oh, didn't you hear? The strike's over.
Really?
It only lasted a few hours according to the report on the radio.
I suppose that's irony.
I suppose so.
I think this line might have been a little too subtle. There was a bit of subtext there that I'm not sure if people got or not. But basically, if it wasn't for the strike, Nishanti and Rosa would never have met. And so when Rosa gets all in a huff about the strike being over so soon, Nishanti's a tiny little bit insulted. Even though it's, she knows it's totally unintentional, it was totally an innocent thing to say, but she's a little bit insulted. And it's extremely subtle, and I don't know if anyone picked up on it or not, but that's what this commentary is for. So, lucky you.
So, you play the flute, huh?
Yes, I play the flute. It's called a bansuri. What about you? Do you play an instrument?
Me? No, I can hardly play the kazoo.
Let's see. You strike me as being creatively inclined. Are you a painter? A writer?
Well, I'm trying to be a writer.
I knew it.
A problem with a lot of Nishanti's lines here is that it's just straight information giving without a lot of character. And when Ruth read the lines, we found it very difficult to give it something. And so we kind of talked about ways to give each line some subtext. And I'm giving this information to you in advance, so you'll be ready. They're about to talk about the newspaper that Rosa works for. And I told Ruth, I said, hey, Ruth, the character, Nishanti, she's going to say, oh, I've never actually read it, but maybe I will. I said to Ruth, I said, hey, you know what? You actually have read these newspapers, and you use them to house train your dog. So you feel guilty about it. And so that's how she read the line. And, it's not something that anyone would get. There's no way you would get that. But you'll definitely notice that there's a little bit more character to the line than there would have been otherwise. So it was a little trick that we did to make the lines sound a little more interesting.
Anything published?
Nothing really, aside from book reviews in the Village Eye.
Village Eye? You mean that little paper they sell at the stand?
You've read it?
I've seen it around, but I've never actually read it. Perhaps I will the next time I see it.
That dog is adorable.
Moti? He's spoiled rotten, but he's good company. He's taken quite a shine to you, that's for sure.
Huh. Yeah, usually I'm not good with animals.
You never had a childhood pet?
A pet? No, I had a teddy bear.
Well, you probably had the right idea. Moti's a little thing, but you wouldn't know it from the amount he eats.
There's a game called The Longest Journey, which is critically acclaimed, but it's a great game. You should all play it. But one common complaint, and a complaint I have, is that you could spend hours talking to the peripheral characters. And it's not so much that there's a lot of dialogue, nothing wrong with a lot of dialogue, but it's just that the dialogue itself, like you could spend an hour talking to the main character whose name is April. You could spend an hour talking to April's landlady, learn the landlady's life story. And you'd never see the landlady again. None of that information moves the story along. And I found myself doing the same thing with Nishanti here. It was very tempting to delve into Nishanti's life story and learn everything about her. And I held myself back, but what I decided to do instead, to kind of justify long dialogues with Nishanti, because I think she's a cool character, was to spin everything you ask Nishanti into learning something about Rosangela. You'll see in this dialogue how you're talking about Nishanti's pet, and then Nishanti asks Rosa a question back. Hey, did you have a pet? And so you learn that Rosangela never had a pet. She grew up with a teddy bear. So in learning about Nishanti, it actually moves the story along a bit because you learn more about Rosa, the character you're playing. So that was sort of my wacky, crazy plan when writing these dialogues.
He's very active, it seems.
Yes, that probably explains it. See that box of biscuits? I buy a new one every 2 days. Moti doesn't have a stomach. He has a black hole that sucks in food. Feel free to give him one if you like.
You have a very nice apartment.
Thank you. A bit small, but that's New York for you.
You seem very friendly with the people in this building.
Well, I didn't grow up here. I didn't realize it was taboo to chat with neighbors.
Well, it's not taboo exactly, it's just...
Oh, I know, just one of those unspoken things. I've found that most people are pretty friendly, though, once you take the first step. People have their defenses up most of the time. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do. Why do you play the flute in the park?
It's a place to go, I suppose. I was walking there one day and I had the bansuri with me, so I started playing. Next thing I knew, I had a bunch of people around me. So I go there as often as I can now. It gets me out of this stuffy apartment, and I admit I like the attention. Plus, Moti loves the dog run there. Well, he did until they closed it down.
Why did they close down the dog run? It seemed okay to me.
Nobody really knows. It started about a week ago. Dogs started howling, running around like maniacs, acting strange. Some even hurled themselves at the fence door trying to get out. They say it's some kind of high-frequency wave that's caused by electric cables or something. Some high-pitched sound that the dogs can hear, but we can't. But I know better.
You know better?
Definitely. I noticed these things. I could tell that things weren't quite right. Something in the air. It's not a high-pitched noise. That would only cause a dog pain. This was more than pain. The dogs were scared.
What was there to be scared of?
I have no idea. But I know what I sensed, just like you did.
Me?
You sensed it. Don't think I didn't notice.
I didn't sense anything.
Well, perhaps. Maybe I'm just spouting nonsense.
Could I try feeding the dog?
Sure, here, take one. I have plenty. Go ahead and feed him. He's always hungry.
Well, I'd better go.
Take care, Rosa. Come back whenever you'd like.
Come here, boy. Hi, dog.
His name is Moti.
Right, Moti. What do I do now?
Just say, go get it. He'll do the rest.
Go get it. See ya.
Let me guess, you're hungry again? Go get it.
I mentioned earlier that I looked after a dog, my friend's dog, for a week, and I took the dog to Washington Square Park. That dog was a Boston Terrier, and that dog's name was Cooper, and then the owner's name was Sarah. And I really based Nishanti's relationship with Moti, which means pearl in Hindi, by
Could I feed Moti another treat?
Sure. Here, take another. I have plenty.
Well, I'd better go.
Take care, Rosa. Come back whenever you'd like.
What is happening? It's gone. The pain, it's gone. That was strange. It was like... What is that? The photo. Something is different about it. I almost don't want to look, but... No. I did not just see that. I am not going crazy. No, it's just the stress, that's all. Auntie's death, work, life. I just need a rest. That's all.
Hello, bright eyes. Why do they always do that?
Joey can certainly make an entrance. Of course, the man behind the ghost, his name is Abe Goldfarb. You might remember him from Shiva. He did the voice of Rabbi Stone in the Shiva. And Joey is, of course, a much different character than Rabbi Stone. It actually took Abe a little while to kind of get the hold of Joey, get the hang of it. He tended to drift into Rabbi mode occasionally. And actually, when he finally nailed the character, he wanted to start over and do it all again because that's how professional Abe is. He really wanted to be good. I always count myself very lucky that one of my closest friends is also one of the best actors I know. There's actually this kind of running joke in terms of voice acting in games where they always say how the developers hired their friends and relatives to do the voices. And that's exactly what I did. But fortunately, my friend can actually act. So working with Abe is always a blast because he's just a lot of fun. He's very funny. You listen to the bloopers at the end and you'll see. But he also has very good instincts when it comes to reading. He requires very little direction, and sometimes he would make very good suggestions. And most of them, I would say 75 to 90% of his suggestions I would actually take. So Abe always makes every project shine.
So, Griff, long time no see. How's tricks? Right, thought as much. Blackwell dames. Always sleeping. You're always sleeping, and I'm always watching. Yep, that's me. The eternal chump. It's about time. Hey, nap time Nelly. Wake up.
What?
Ahem. Shall we try this again?
No.
Now that's not very polite.
Go away.
I'm afraid I can't do that, darling. Believe me, I've tried.
No, you don't exist.
Oh, yes, I do. Look at me.
This is not happening. This is not happening.
Oh, brother.
I am not going insane. There is nothing there.
Could you?
No! I am not my aunt. I am not my grandmother. I am not going to end up like that.
Listen.
Get out of my head! There's nothing there. There's nothing there. There's nothing there.
Could you?
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
No, you shut up. You're gonna listen. And you're gonna listen good. I've been watching you all day, sweetheart. You know who I am.
No.
Yes. I'm not going away, so there'd be no point in beating around the bush. Now say my name.
No!
Damn you, you know my name, now say it.
You're
Yes?
Joey?
Good girl. You got it in one. Now turn around and look at me. Don't worry. I won't bite. Couldn't even if I wanted to. Hi there.
You can't be real. You're just a stress-induced hallucination.
Yeah, sure. Think about your aunt and grandmother and say that again.
So who are you?
I'm Joey Mallone, and I'm the family spirit guide.
What?
Think of me as the Blackwell legacy, darling. I'm passed down from one generation to the next, like a family heirloom. First your grandmother got stuck with me, then your aunt, and now you.
So I'm not going crazy?
Nope. Ain't that grand?
Why have you been haunting my family?
Haunting? Is that what I'm doing? That's a real ugly word.
Answer me, why are you here?
You got me, sweetheart. I've been wondering why me and why your family since this whole gig started. Must be some kind of gift your family has.
A gift?
You're a medium. A medium with a direct connection with the spirit world. And I, my dear, have the unique pleasure of being that connection.
I don't understand any of this.
Oh, you will, babe, you will. Took your aunt a while, but she got the hang of it. Your grandmother never really caught on. That's probably why...
Why what?
Why she didn't last long. But that's something we can talk about later. You felt something today, didn't you?
Felt something?
Yeah, you felt sick to your stomach, I saw you.
I've been feeling sick all day.
And where did it start?
The hospital.
Hell, I hope not. I don't want to go back there in a hurry. Think harder.
That NYU dorm?
No. That's tied in, maybe, but think further back.
Nishanti? It has something to do with Nishanti.
The old lady? No. Think harder.
You mean the dog run?
Yeah, that's where we've got to go.
What, right now?
Yep, the sooner the better.
But it's the middle of the night.
So you've just had a nice nap. You should be ready for action.
I'm not going out to Washington Square Park in the middle of the night.
Well, that's where you're wrong. If there's any reason behind this medium business, it's to take care of problems like your dog park. And we have to take care of them soon.
This is all too much. I've got to sleep on this.
Sorry, kiddo, we gotta go now.
What's the hurry?
Let me put it another way. Do you want to end up like your aunt and grandmother?
Was that because of you? Did you do that?
Not me, kid, not me. I didn't make him that way, and I don't know what did. But do you really want to sit around here and find out?
I can't believe this is happening.
Believe it.
Maybe I am going crazy. Maybe I'd prefer going crazy.
Sorry, sugar, you're totally sane. Deal with it.
Fine. Let's go.
That's the spirit. After you.
That was strange. Everybody just ignored you. Am I the only one who can see you?
Yep, and hear me. So keep your voice low. Oh, yeah. This is the spot. Can you see it?
I don't see anything. Can we go?
Come on, this way.
Hey, wait!
Don't worry, I can't travel far from you. Goes against the rules, whatever they are. Now look inside there, and look close.
What am I supposed to see?
Just wait. It'll come.
Wait, I see something. Who is that?
That's what we're here to find out. I'll talk to the spook. You can stay here.
Okay.
If you're interested in the conception of ideas, the idea to use the dog park as a haunted place was when, again, I was looking after my friend's dog, and it was late at night, and the dog needed a walk. So I put the leash on the dog, walked out to Washington Square Park, and went to the dog park. Went in there, opened the gate, let him in, and I looked around, and it was very creepy there at night. It's just looking around, it was empty, it was dark, and it was just, I don't know, it was creepy. And it just seemed like a good place to set a ghost story. So that's where that came from.
Now watch and learn. Why so down, beautiful? Ah. I'm a bit out of practice. How should I handle this? Hey, buck up. It's only death. The worst part's over. Leaving so soon? I thought we were getting along.
They all run. It's so hard to hold on. It's me. It's me. They won't stop.
We're here to help you.
Help?
Yeah, that's us. We're helpers.
Help. Help. He wants me to help him. But I want to help them. Don't they know that?
Help who?
Can't. They run away.
We won't run away.
No, we're sick. He poisoned us. Got into our head and poisoned us.
Whatever happened, darling, it's over. You do know that, don't you?
No, I'm poisoned. Stay away or I'll poison you. Run away like all the others.
So here is Chen's second role, that of Allie, the sad, lonely ghost, and she did a really good job here. This is the sort of thing that she normally does anyway. When I got her audition reel, it was all like sad, lonely, confused girl, and I'm like, perfect for Allie. But I also saw how tough she could be, so I figured she could do Kelly as well. But here, the voice echoes, and at first I debated whether or not I should make the voice echo because Joey's voice doesn't echo, but I didn't want to make Joey echo because it would get in the way of the acting too much, and Abe has a wide range and Joey has such a wide range of emotions that I didn't want to have the echo mask that. And Allie, it didn't matter as much because she's really just playing one emotion for the whole time, so it wouldn't really affect that too much. And plus the echo makes her scary and all mysterious and stuff, and I kind of like that. And I put it before the beta testers and asked them what they thought, and they said, yeah, definitely make Allie's voice echo. So I made a voice echo, and I think it works well.
Not a chance. I'm staying right here.
You're him. He's the only one who won't go away.
Who?
Him!
Now look, darling, sweetheart.
Leave me.
Hey.
Leave.
All right. We're going. Look, just sit tight. We'll figure this out, and we'll be back. Friggin' ghosts. Can't get a straightforward answer out of any of them.
What just happened?
What just happened is we've got an unstable spirit on our hands, haunting that dog park over there. You wondered why the mutts don't like it here? That's the reason.
There's a ghost haunting the dog park.
That's what I said.
A ghost.
Sure.
What am I doing here?
I told you.
No, I really should go to bed.
Hey, wait a sec.
Yeah, sleep. I shouldn't be here.
Oh, for the love of Pete.
Chris Fimo, the guy who did this background and the Washington Square Park backgrounds, did a game a few years ago called Enclosure, which was done with an engine called AGI, which creates these really old school, I mean even more old school than this game, old school Sierra style. I'm talking low resolution, blocky graphics, and he made a really great game using that engine just to say he could. And it came as a surprise when I first got in touch with him to learn that he could really seriously draw the hell out of a background. He kind of went the AGI route as a personal challenge just to see if he could take those old school blocky graphics and make them sing. And he really did. Enclosure is an incredible game, and when he had a much wider palette to use, you can just look at this background here. I mean, he just did some amazing stuff with it. So he it's actually quite that's the coolest thing ever, that he made that AGI game just because he could, just because he wanted to prove that he could do something with it. And I find that very, very admirable. So good going, Chris. I'm lucky to have him on board.
What an odd dream.
Good morning, Bright Eyes.
You're still here.
Wouldn't be anywhere else. Has anybody told you that you snore?
If it bothers you so much, you can always leave.
I wish I could, dear. I told you, I couldn't leave even if I wanted to.
So this is going to be my life from now on.
Pretty much, yeah.
You're going to follow me around for the rest of my life.
That's how it works, as far as I can tell.
Great. Just great.
Hey, it ain't all a bed of roses for me either, dollface. You think I chose to be shackled to your family for the last 40 years? Your grandmother refused to accept it, and look what happened to her.
And Auntie?
She made a mistake.
What kind of mistake?
Hey, what is this, 20 questions? What's with the third degree?
Are you hiding something, Joey?
Who, me? I'm an open book. It's not my fault you can't read.
What does that mean?
It means zip it.
Look, this isn't easy, you know. You're a ghost? Fine. I'm a medium? Fine. My whole life is turned upside down? Fine. But you could at least meet me halfway.
You've accepted it, you say?
So far, yes.
You've only seen a taste of it. Are you ready to go all the way?
What do you mean?
Ready to see what's out there. Ready to see what this is all about.
It's not like I have a choice, right?
No, you don't.
So what is it?
I don't have to tell you. It's best if I show you. Here, take a hold of this.
I can touch it?
Yeah, the only part of me you can touch. Unfortunately.
It kinda tingles.
Alright, I have to apologize. I showed this scene to some friends at a party recently. And apparently I don't have as dirty a mind as I thought, but apparently these lines that you just heard could be taken in rather a dirty fashion. The tie could be a metaphor for something else, and it could be read that way. And I totally did not think that when I was writing this. I guess I am a lot more innocent than I thought. But if anyone out there was offended, if you have any little ones that are crying and are upset and are scarred for life, I do apologize.
What is it?
The stuff of life. Or death. I've never quite worked it out.
What now?
Now you pull.
Pull the tie?
Yeah, pull.
Okay.
I love that falling animation. I could watch it all day. Ian managed to do a falling animation, and what's special about this falling animation, I don't know if you can tell, but it's all within the same frame. Like when Rosa walks, it's in a frame, and he managed to make Rosa fall within that same frame. It's the exact same width and length as the walking frame. I don't know if that makes any sense, but if you know what I'm talking about, you'll understand. It's quite an achievement to have Rosa fall in such a narrow frame space. And Ian is an amazing animator. This guy took the indie gaming world by storm with his Apprentice series a few years ago. He just came out with a game called Super Jazzman. I haven't actually played it because it literally just came out today, but I've been busy working on this game, as you probably know. But I hear it's awesome, so check it out. He turned into Superman towards the end. He just delivered sprites and animations so fast, it was like held the guy up at gunpoint. He did amazing stuff. So good job, Ian, all around.
Oh my god. Where have you taken me?
Relax. Take your time. It's a lot to take in at once.
What is this place?
It's the doorway to infinity, darling. Out there, in the distance, the next world. The next plane of existence. The gossamer threads that separate this world from the next. Whatever you want to call it. It's all out there.
How did we get here?
We're inside your head.
You mean I'm dreaming?
No, I mean we're literally inside your head. Remember those headaches you had yesterday?
Yeah?
That was your power awakening. Or to be more specific, it was this place, forcing its way into your mind.
This is another big old info dump about Joey and Rosa in the world they inhabit, the things they do, the whole tie thing, the whole void thing. That's all a big info dump. And I mentioned before how that's a bad idea. And I did it again. I did it twice in the same game. Yeah, again, another what was I thinking, an apology moment. So yeah, sorry.
So what does that mean?
It means that you've got a spiritual way station in your head.
I'm not sure I like this.
Well, like it or not, we're here.
So what does this place actually do?
It's sort of a transfer point, or node. It connects the mortal world with the next. You bring spirits into this place, and then send them on their merry way.
That's it.
Well, there's a bit more to it than that.
I thought as much.
You see, many ghosts aren't as lucid as myself. Most can barely tell you their own names, let alone tell you what's wrong. Near as I can figure, they have to come to terms with their departure before they can actually depart. You dig me so far?
No. Can you explain it again?
I'll put it more simply for you. The ghosts don't know they're dead, so we have to help them accept it. Once they accept their death, they are much more willing to move on. That's my job, see? I talk to the spooks. They trust me more because I'm one of them. You do the legwork. See? Anyway, I know you have some questions about this place, so go ahead and ask them.
Believe it or not, I came up with this concept on a bus driving to Cardiff, Wales. I was just visiting some friends to an event called Britain's, an adventure game studio meetup. I was on a bus trying to hash out the plot ideas for the series, and I came up with this place, mainly because I knew that Rosa was going to free all these ghosts. And it was getting way too complicated. I had this idea that each one would be freed in a kind of metaphorical way, and it just got so complicated. And I just decided to keep it very simple. I wanted the logic to remain the same for each ghost. They are freed by pulling them into this, this place, which I called Node Space. I don't know how I came up with that name. It's a stupid name, but I call it Node Space. I don't call it that in the game. But I came up with Node Space is just the way to get the ghosts out and on their way. And it's simple, and the concept works, and you could do a lot of stuff with it. I'm definitely going to be expanding the whole mystique of this place later on. So right now, it's very basic, it's functional, it does the job. Later on, there's some funky things that are going to happen here, so stay tuned.
What about that ghost in the park? The one from last night? Why didn't we bring her here?
First of all, I didn't think you were ready. And secondly, that ghost was too lost and confused. When a ghost is like that, I can't just force the tie into their hands. It won't work, don't ask me why. They have to know they're dead first. Your aunt called it, being spiritually ready.
What about you? Can you go through that hole and move on?
I wish, darling. But I can't. I've tried before, but it just spits me back out. I'm stuck here, whether I like it or not.
You're wearing your tie again. How did that happen?
Not sure. Near as your aunt and me figured, the tie is just an extension of whatever power brought us here. It's not a real physical tie. No more than I am a real physical person.
But that makes no sense.
Look, just accept it, dollface. Forget logic. For you, logic went out the window the day I appeared in your bedroom. There ain't no instruction manual for this. Your aunt and me just figured it out as we went along.
Are you okay, Joey?
Me? I'm dandy.
You don't look all right.
It's just this place. I don't like it. Probably because I don't belong. Maybe someday, but not now.
I think I've learned enough.
You sure?
Yeah.
All right. Let's get out of here. Welcome back.
Ugh.
Take it easy. It's a little disorientating.
I'm fine. So what now? Go back to the park and bring her to that place?
You got it.
And how do we do that?
There are 3 steps. First, we have to find out more about her. Second, we use that information to get through to her, convince her that she's dead. And 3, help her move on.
How do we find out more about her? She could be anybody.
Not necessarily. That picture you got, the one of the 3 girls? That blonde girl is either the ghost in the park or her twin sister.
You sure?
She's a dead ringer. No pun intended.
The blonde girl is dead.
Looks like it.
And this other girl, Joanne, she's dead too.
Yep.
What's going on?
That, my dear, is our bread and butter.
What else can we do to learn more about the ghost in the park?
The photo, dear, it's the biggest clue we have.
What else can we do to learn more about the ghost in the park?
The photo, dear, it's the biggest clue we have.
How do we convince ghosts that they're actually dead?
That's the tricky part. Near as I can figure, we need to remind the ghosts who they are. Their death was too traumatic, or too violent, or too emotional that their little spirit minds snapped. So we need to do whatever we can to bring them back to themselves.
And how do we do that?
Usually by finding something that has a personal significance to them. Could be an object, a piece of information, or even another person.
So we need to know more about the ghost in the park.
You're a writer, yeah? Think of this as the ultimate character study.
How do we help a ghost move on?
With my magic tie, dear. I give one end to the spook, the other end to you. You pull the ghost in, and you send them on their way.
You don't come in with me?
No, sorry. That's your job.
I think I've heard enough.
Yeah, let's get going.
Joey crashes yet another photograph. He doesn't look happy. Joey crashes yet another photograph. He doesn't look happy. That's definitely Auntie Lauren. Even way back then, Joey was following her around. How did she manage it? I assume that's my mother. She sort of looks like me, I guess. Other than that, she's a total stranger. Is that my dad? He looks so young. I always pictured my dad as being older. Joey crashes yet another photograph. I assume that this is a friend of Joanne, but I have no idea who she is. Joey says that this girl looks exactly like the girl in the park. According to Kelly, this girl on the left is Joanne. You coming?
Yeah, sure.
Yo, it's open.
After you.
How many references to my earlier games can you find in this room? This isn't something I asked Chris to do. It's not something I asked him to do. He kind of did it on his own. You'll see the Shiva poster kind of in the foreground there. It's a very low-res version of the Shiva poster. One of my early designs of Rosa is sitting there on top of the closet. The Kiss poster, which was seen in Two of a Kind, is on this wall. Although I guess that's not really a two-of-a-kind thing. Anyone could be a Kiss fan. So yeah, references. Yay, gotta love them.
Yeah?
Could I ask you some follow-up questions, Kelly?
Fine. Make it quick.
Thanks again for lending me that photograph.
No big deal. It was just sitting there on our desk.
How are you holding up?
I'm fine. Midterms are a bitch, but I'm handling it. Or I would be handling it if you didn't keep bugging me.
Can I take a look around?
What for?
Just to see if I can find anything else about Joanne.
What, you're a detective now?
Well,
Forget it.
could you tell me about the other 2 girls in the photo?
Oh, them.
You know them.
Only through Joanne.
Do you know their names?
Blonde girl is Allie, I think. And the Asian girl? She's Susan. Tried to avoid them when they were here.
Really? Why?
Look, I need my space. Joanne needed her friends around her. So whenever Joanne turned this place into social central, I had to split. They didn't care for me, and I didn't much care for them.
Before you discount Kelly as being a horrible, horrible, nasty bitch, I want to let you know that I based a lot of Kelly's observations and annoyances on my own experience in college. I shared a room with a guy, and Michael, if you're listening to this, you're awesome, but this drove me nuts. I shared a room with a guy who was so social, and a heck of a lot more social than I was. And not that I was antisocial, but I would do all my socializing outside of the dorm room. I wanted to hang out with people, I would leave. When I wanted to relax and be alone, I would come back to the dorm room. This guy would open up the door, turn on the radio, invite the entire world in. It would drive me nuts, and I turned into Mr. Sourpuss Grumpy Face because I'm like, I just want to be alone. And I was so a lot of Kelly's anger towards her roommate was based on my own experiences.
Thanks for helping out.
Yeah, sure, whatever.
Thanks again, Kelly.
Whatever.
The future Mrs. Davenport? I wonder what that means. I recognize her. That's Joanne. That's her, the ghost in the park. She looks so happy here. I wonder what happened to make her like that. The future Mrs. Davenport? I wonder what that means. There's a notebook on Joanne's desk. Can I use your phone?
You what?
It'll only take a second.
Fine, just hurry up.
Who do you think you're calling?
If anyone ever gets stuck in Blackwell Legacy, it's here. And there's a reason for that. In order to solve this puzzle, it's required that you have spoken to Joey on a very specific topic earlier in the game. You have to go back to Rosa's apartment and talk to Joey about his special abilities. And a lot of people didn't do that. And so they get stuck here and they look online for a walkthrough. And the walkthrough says to tell Joey to use his power on Kelly's papers. And they're like, how do I do that? I don't know how to do that. The option doesn't come up to do that. It's because they didn't talk to Joey about that specific thing. So So I guess the lesson here is that you can't always trust the walkthrough. You sometimes have to use your brain to figure things out.
Not now. I'm on the phone. Sorta. Thanks again, Kelly.
Yeah, sure.
Thank God that's over.
Over? What do you mean?
We got what we came for, didn't we?
What exactly do we know?
Well,
Exactly. That'll get us far. We gotta get back in there and search for more clues.
hey, Joey.
Yeah?
What was Auntie Lauren like?
What do you want to know about her for?
I just do. Can't you tell me anything?
Hey, we've got lots to do. Ask me later.
What was my grandmother like?
Her? We have to talk about her?
What's wrong with her?
Nothing. Forget it. Ask me later.
Joey, you're in this photograph.
Oh, so I am. That was Jack and Maria's wedding.
My parents?
Yeah.
Can you tell me anything about this picture, Joey?
Oh, yeah. I remember this. This was taken about 40 years ago. Your grandmother insisted on it.
So that's my grandmother.
Yep.
And that's my dad? And Auntie Lauren?
In the flesh.
How did you die?
Excuse me? How did I die?
Yeah.
That's a bit of a personal question, isn't it?
Is it?
Yes!
Sorry. So what can you actually do?
Do?
As a ghost? Any powers or anything like that?
What you see is what you get, dear. I can float through walls as long as I'm still near you.
But you can't touch anything.
Not really.
Not really?
Well, you remember that breeze you felt when I manifested myself last night?
Yeah.
That's the extent of my physical presence. Neat trick, huh?
Not really.
Everyone's a critic.
I wonder if the name Davenport has any significance.
It could. You never know.
I don't suppose you know anything about Susan.
Nope, no more than you.
So the ghost's name is Allie,
Looks like it.
and she's trapped in the dog run at Washington Square Park,
That's where she is.
and we have to save her.
Yep.
Is this going to be a typical day from now on?
You'll look back on this as one of the normal ones.
What do you think of Kelly?
That kid? I suppose, once you get past all that metal, and the clothes and the hair and the nasty makeup, not to mention the skin, and the nasty attitude, maybe. Nah, forget it.
What do you think of Adrian?
Adrian? Huh. His parents must have really hated him to saddle him with that name.
Joey.
Still, to be sharing a floor with a bevy of young college ladies. Huh. Maybe he doesn't have it so bad.
I don't suppose you'd know anything about Joanne, would you?
Nope, no more than you. Judging by the picture, she knows that sob story in the park, but that's all.
Why would Joanne commit suicide?
Who knows? Maybe she was in a hurry.
That's not funny.
You want a different answer, ask a different ghost.
I think I've heard enough.
Yeah, let's get going.
Joey crashes yet another photograph. He doesn't look happy. Psst, Joey!
What do you want, sweetheart?
Let's talk some more about Auntie Lauren.
Like I said, kid, later. We've got stuff to do first.
I think I've heard enough.
Yeah, let's get going.
You coming?
Yeah, sure.
It's open.
After you.
Yeah.
Can I use your phone again?
Again?
It'll only take a second.
Fine. Yeah. Whatever. Just hurry up.
Thanks again, Kelly.
Yeah, sure.
Can I?
No. Joanna and I might not have been buddies, but I'll be damned if I'm gonna let some stranger pop through her stuff.
Can I use your phone again?
Again?
It'll only take a second.
Fine. Yeah. Whatever. Just hurry up.
Not now. I'm on the phone. Sorta. Thanks again, Kelly.
Yeah, sure.
I'm not getting into Kelly's bed. She hates me enough already. It's the only bed in the room. I guess Kelly got rid of the other bed after Joanne left. The window has safety bars on it. I guess that's kind of ironic in a morbid kind of way. Could I ask you some follow-up questions, Kelly?
Fine. Make it quick.
Please let me look around. It would really help me out.
I've helped you out enough. You can ask your stupid questions, but you touch nothing.
I don't suppose you know anything about Susan.
Not much. Quiet, I guess. Maybe she just didn't talk around me. I never stuck around long enough to get to know her.
Do you know anyone named Davenport?
No, but it's a stupid name.
It's written right over here on Joanne's bulletin board.
You think I care what she does? I mean, what she did? I don't know anyone with that name. Sorry.
Do you know anything about Joanne's friend Allie?
You mean Miss Blondie?
Yeah.
I know enough, which isn't much. She was over here all the time visiting Joanne. She was kinda sweet, I guess. Laughed all the time. Ugh, that was annoying. It was usually my cue to get out of here. What do you want to know about her?
I'm having difficulty finding her. Would you know where she is?
I don't know. She could be anywhere. Studying, partying.
Pushing up daisies.
Shh. Huh?
Nothing.
Right.
Thanks for helping out.
Yeah, sure. Whatever.
Thanks again, Kelly.
Whatever.
Can I use your phone again?
Again?
It'll only take a second.
Fine. Yeah. Whatever. Just hurry up.
Hello, could I speak to Joey, please? Hi, Joey? Yes, I had some questions for you.
Not bad, kid, not bad. If you got something to say it quick. Lady Pincushion here is starting to look a little hot under the collar.
Yes, hello. Could you tell me what I'm supposed to do now, please?
Do? Look around, check for clues. We need all the information we can get our hands on.
Joey, I'm not sure I can do what you ask me to do. This is stupid.
Kid, you have to. Don't back out now.
Joey, can you do something about that little bird who is watching me?
Huh? You mean Metal Nose?
Yes, she's making me nervous.
Me? What can I do?
You performed a little trick for me earlier. I'd like you to repeat it for me.
Trick?
Joey, do you see the pile of papers on the desk?
Yeah?
I need you to work your magic on them.
Sure, I can handle that.
It's funny, knowing about the future Blackwell games, my first instinct on how to solve this puzzle would be to just switch to Joey and blow on the papers. But in Blackwell Legacy, you couldn't control Joey. And that obviously changed in future installments. I enabled the player to control Joey. You could switch between both of them at will. And I thought about, while doing this revamp, well, hey, maybe I'll add the ability to switch to Joey. But I'm like, nope. I don't want to play George Lucas. Some small superficial changes, fine, but nothing groundbreaking. So I kept it as it was.
Thanks again, Kelly.
Yeah, sure.
Nice one.
Looks like standard poli-sci lecture notes. It looks like Joanne liked to doodle in class. The last set of notes in this notebook are pretty strange. I'd better take a closer look.
I actually saw a doodle almost exactly like this somewhere. I don't remember where it was exactly. I just remember seeing this doodle, and it was almost this exact same thing. The three stick figures of three girls, two at the top had a guy next to them, and one of the guys was crossed out. And then at the bottom, the girl said, "So many men, so little time." And I just looked at these three stick figures, and it's like I got the 3 personalities, or I just learned enough about these 3 girls, like to kind of develop little, I don't know, personality profiles. And I always thought it was a nice way to give information about characters without having to do a lot of work, basically. This little picture tells a lot about Joanne, Susan, and Allie. And in a way, these 3 girls are very much cliches. They are a little one-dimensional. Joanne is the smart one, Susan is the quiet one, and Allie is the pretty funny one. However, since Susan is drugged out in a mental asylum, Joanne is dead, and Allie is a ghost in a park, I figure their one-dimensionality it won't bother people too much. So I think I can forgive myself for not giving them too much of a personality.
Could I ask you some follow-up questions, Kelly?
Fine. Make it quick.
Do you know anyone named Alexander?
No.
Thanks for helping out.
Yeah, sure. Whatever.
Thanks again, Kelly.
Whatever.
I wonder if there's a connection between Allie and this Alexander. The school thought that Adrian was a girl because of his name. Alex could also be a girl's name. I wonder. Could I ask you some follow-up questions, Kelly?
Fine. Make it quick.
Do you know anyone named Alexander?
No.
Thanks for helping out.
Yeah, sure. Whatever.
Thanks again, Kelly.
Whatever.
So, congratulations, kid. You committed your first burglary.
Is that what I just did?
For the greater good, kid. For the greater good.
That makes me feel so much better. Hi, it's me again.
You have more questions, I imagine?
Yeah, is that okay?
I suppose so. What do you want to know?
Did you ever meet Joanne's friend Susan?
The name doesn't ring a bell, I'm afraid.
Thanks anyway.
Davenport? No. Nobody named Davenport on this floor.
Thanks anyway. Do you know anybody named Alex?
As I said, I know several. You're going to have to give me a last name.
Well, that's all for now. Thanks for helping out.
Just remember, leave my name out of it.
I think it's safe to say that these refer to the same person. Hi, it's me again.
You have more questions, I imagine?
Yeah, is that okay?
I suppose so. What do you want to know?
Do you know an Alexander Davenport?
The name doesn't ring a bell, I'm afraid.
Well, that's all for now. Thanks for helping out.
Just remember, leave my name out of it.
I'm not ready for bed. Joey, come here a sec.
What do you want, sweetheart?
What was my grandmother like?
Old Patty Cake was a real bundle of laughs.
Patty cake?
Yeah, your grandmother. Her name was Patricia, right? So you get Pat, Patty, Patty Cake.
You really called her patty cake?
Yeah, that really hacked her off. Come to think of it, just about everything I did hacked her off.
Like what?
Like... forget it. Ask me later.
Can you tell me more about Auntie Lauren?
I guess. She was a tough lady. Stubborn. Smoked like a chimney.
Anything else?
Later, kid, later. Let's get through this first.
Why were you at the wedding?
Because your aunt insisted on going, and I go where she goes. I could have talked her out of it, but she put her foot down. Tough lady, your aunt, when she needed to be.
What were you doing in this picture?
Being ignored, as usual. Real strong believer in denial, that woman.
I think I've heard enough.
Yeah, let's get going.
And Alexander Davenport was listed as being on the hockey team at NYU. It doesn't say anything else about him, though. Without a last name, the word Susan is pretty useless. It's too common a name. Without a last name, the word Allie is pretty useless. It's too common a name. Could Alexander Davenport have killed Allie? Judging from the photo Kelly gave me, Susan and Allie were close friends. You coming?
Yeah, sure.
Please note, Dog Walking Park is closed until further notice. I don't want to, but I guess we should talk to the ghost again.
Don't worry. I'll do the talking.
I remember even 5 years ago when creating this scene and seeing these two ghosts in this scene that they just didn't look very good. They just don't look very good in daylight. In a daylight scene, ghosts just don't look good. I tried playing with transparencies. I tried doing all sorts of stuff. They just didn't look good. And so there's a reason why all the future Blackwell games take place at night. Convergence has some scenes during the day, but the sky is deliberately kept very cloudy and dark and moody, so the ghosts look cool in exterior shots. So I guess you will not be seeing many bright sunny days in future Blackwell games.
Hey there, remember me?
No, maybe.
For a lot of this commentary, I keep talking about things that I've done wrong and things that I would have done differently and things I regret doing 5 years ago or things that I just have mistakes that I learned from. But something about this character, Allie, I did something very right because a lot of customers have told me that I took some scenes from this section and I put it in the trailer, the original trailer for Blackwell Legacy. And a lot of customers have told me that it was Allie's moments in the trailer that convinced them to buy the game. So there's something about Allie here that resonated with people. And even though through my complete lack of experience, I did something really right here. So for that, I'm very glad.
Can you tell me the last thing you remember?
Candy. I was eating candy.
Candy?
Candy to make the Deacon go away.
Ah, I think I understand. Did it work?
I don't hear him anymore, but he did something to me. He'll go away.
Are you friends with a girl named Joanne?
Joanne? Joanne? Beware of Joanne when her plans unfurled, for she intends to take over the world. She had to go away. He drove her away. She didn't understand.
Do you know why Joanne killed herself?
Joanne? She can't be dead. She's going to change the world. She's not dead. Even though she had to go away. They all had to go away. Because of the Deacon.
Do you know Kelly?
Kelly, crazy Kelly, made of ice jelly. We all drove her away. But that was okay. It wasn't the Deacon's fault. It was hers.
Is your name Allie?
Yes, that's me. Allie Montego, story of the song. She kisses the boys, but not for long.
Cute. Well, Allie Montego. At least we've confirmed who you are. Do you know anyone named Alexander Davenport?
On a date with Alexander the Great. Was it an accident, or was it just fate?
Can you tell me who the Deacon is?
The Deacon is the Deacon. We called him and he came. He got into my head. He's scared. He's diseased. He's made me diseased too. Now everyone goes away.
Can you tell me about your friend Susan?
Quiet Sue. Little Lady Lee. Always neat and always fair. Won't say much, but you'll know she's there.
Lady Lee?
She had to go away. Stupid Deacon. Sending away all my friends. Even the little ones.
Look, just sit tight. We'll figure this out, and we'll be back.
That place is creepy.
What, you don't like dogs?
You know what I mean. Joey crashes yet another photograph. He doesn't look happy. That's definitely Auntie Lauren. Even way back then, Joey was following her around. How did she manage it? Hey, Joey.
Yes, darling?
Can you tell me more about Auntie Lauren?
Your aunt she was tough. Always ready to pick a fight. Wouldn't take guff from nobody. We got on famously.
So you liked her?
Liked her? Hell. Sure, I liked her. She was the first person in 10 years who was willing to talk to me. She didn't scream or run away, and she certainly didn't swoon like some people.
Shut up.
She just looked right at me and said, "Oh, that was it. That was all I needed to hear."
So what happened after that?
What is this, an interrogation? Cut it with the questions, kid. You're bothering me. We'll talk about this later.
Why did she hate you so much?
Because I ruined her perfect little life. She had the nice house, the supportive hubby, the 2 kids, and then I come along.
Yeah, you have a way of ruining peaceful lives. Anything else?
Nah, I'm done talking about her. Ask me again later.
You don't look very happy in this picture.
That's because I wasn't. There was a spirit trapped in an alley down in Chinatown. A little girl, 5 years old. Lost and confused and needing our help. But did your aunt want to solve the case? No. Going to the wedding was important, she said. More important. Can you imagine?
I don't know. Do you remember anything else about that day?
It was over 40 years ago, doll. Stupid hair and ugly sweaters, that's all I remember.
I think I've heard enough.
Yeah, let's get going.
Lee is a pretty common name, but it should narrow things down. I think I got her. Susan Lee, 18 years old, was admitted to Bellevue Hospital last week after an apparent suicide attempt.
Here's something interesting. That line you just heard Rosa say was the very last line of Rosa's that I imported into the game. So I figure this would be a good opportunity to talk about the whole voice recording thing. Holy crap, is it a pain in the neck. Voice recording is a whole lot different than doing non-voiced. Because number one, you have to make sure you record everything, and if you don't, you either have to fudge it using dialogue you already have, or drag the actors back, and neither of them is a desirable situation. Or you could do what I did with Shiva, which was to just have a text narration. And I miss the text narration from Shiva because it made it so much easier to fudge it. If I forgot to record some dialogue, I could just, put a little text narration up. I don't know if you remember the bartender in Shiva, but the bartender in Shiva doesn't say anything. That's because I never recorded the dialogue that the bartender was supposed to say. So in the 11th hour, I just made it all text. And it worked. But in this game, I kind of made a point of not using text as sort of a personal challenge to myself. And there were a few little moments, and if you've played this game before or listened to this commentary, I'll be mentioning where they are. There was the photograph of the Christmas family picture. There, I forgot to record dialogue. There was a bit later, a couple little places where it's just, I had to fudge things. I had to reuse other bits of dialogue previously recorded, and it was very restrictive, actually. It was really hard for me to do with that because it did restrict freedom in terms of what I could change later on. Like, once it's recorded, it's set in stone. And that's something to really keep in mind if any of you out there want to pursue this, do this crazy thing that I'm doing. It's difficult, especially in a game like this where, holy crap, there's a lot of dialogue. I just went a little crazy. So I'm impressed that I managed to get all the dialogue down that I did. That's a little bit of behind the scenes troubles for you guys.
I think that's our girl.
You coming?
Yeah, sure. Man, I hate this place. I was stuck here for 25 years. Why'd you have to drag me back here, huh?
Whoa! Hold on there. You want to go in, I gotta clear you first.
Is Susan Lee a patient here?
Susan? Yeah, we've got her. She came in about a week ago.
May I visit Susan Lee?
Sure, if you're on the approved guest list. What was your name again?
Rosangela Blackwell.
Sorry, you're not on the list. She'll be out in a week. You can visit her then.
I'd like to see Susan Lee, please.
I told you, you're not on the guest list.
Oh, well, that's because I wasn't on the list at the time. I should be on it now.
Oh, really? Well, let's check then. What was your name again?
My name is Alex Davenport.
Huh. Your name is on the list.
Can I go in now?
Sure. I'll notify the nurse that you're coming. She'll take you in.
Thanks.
Alexander?
No, I'm sorry.
Where's Alexander?
He's right outside, but I'd like to talk to you first if that's okay.
I think you're lying. Alexander wouldn't want to see me. He can, but he won't. Who are you?
My name is Rosangela. I'd like to talk to you if that's okay.
Are you a doctor?
No, I'm not a doctor, but I'd still like to talk to you if that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
So how are you feeling?
Fine.
That's all.
Yeah, I'm fine. Whatever.
I'd like to talk to you about your friend Joanne.
You know Joanne?
Sort of.
What about her?
Can you tell me about her?
She's Joanne. That's all.
Do you know why Joanne killed herself? Susan?
She just did. Don't know why.
Do you know Joanne's roommate Kelly?
Yeah, sorta. Why?
Oh, no reason. Can you tell me anything about Alex?
I don't know. He's nobody. Just some guy.
Who is the Deacon?
What do you mean?
The Deacon, Susan.
He's nobody. Nobody.
Do you know what happened to Allie?
Yeah.
Do you know why she did it?
No.
Susan, can you tell me why you're here? What happened?
Nothing. Just nothing.
I have to go now, Susan, but I'll come back to check on you again.
Mm-hmm.
Joey crashes yet another photograph. He doesn't look happy. Joey, come here a sec.
What do you want, sweetheart?
Can you tell me more about Auntie Lauren?
I guess. What do you want to know?
I don't know. Tell me about a case you went on.
It was a long time ago, but I do remember one. There was this brownstone down in Brooklyn, one of those fancy houses that got converted into apartments. The residents kept complaining of weird noises and bad dreams. Your aunt and I heard about it and went over there. Turns out, these two little boys had been locked in a basement closet over 30 years beforehand. The door was paved over. Nobody knew it was even there. Those two little ghosts had been crying in the dark for 30 years until we came along.
That's horrible.
Yeah, that was a messy one.
How did you save them?
We did some snooping, found the grandmother, brought her to the house. The boys calmed down and we took care of the rest.
So you saved them?
Yeah, we had no choice, did we?
I'd like to talk about my grandmother again.
I'll be frank, kid. She may have hated me, but I hated her even more. Hated her. The whole 7 months I was with her, she spent the whole time pretending I wasn't there. Can you believe that?
You're hard to ignore, Joey.
Tell me about it. And I did everything I could to get her attention. I'd yell in her ear, I'd get right up in her face. She knew I was there, and I knew she knew. But she just ignored me all the same.
Well, you can hardly blame her.
Don't lecture me, dollface. I did what I had to.
Had to? You could have...
Could have done what? Look, I'm done talking about that old bat. Maybe we'll talk more later, but not now.
Can you tell me anything else about the wedding?
I don't know. There was music. The bride wore white. It was over 30 years ago. Just because I'm dead doesn't mean my memory is perfect.
Do you remember when that picture was taken?
Picture?
Yeah, the one on the TV.
Oh, the Brooklyn Bridge picture. You don't remember?
I was 5 years old.
Right. You tend to forget stuff like that when you're... well, when you're me.
So what about the picture?
Oh, it was just one of your aunt's little field trips. One of many, I hasten to add. She wanted to take you all over the damn city and I could do nothing but tag along.
Really?
Yeah, I knew it was a bad idea.
Why's that?
Just leave it.
But
Shut your mouth, kid. You're attracting flies. We'll talk about this later. Maybe.
I think I've heard enough.
Yeah, let's get going.
Allie Montego. Let's see if I can find her. She apparently spent some time on a spiritual internet forum. She was looking for information about Ouija boards? Are Ouija boards dangerous? She asked. Can they call anything evil? And if so, how do you get rid of it?
Oh, jeez. Another bunch of hacks messing with those stupid boards.
This has happened before?
A few times. Those things are nothing but trouble.
I know Allie was interested in Ouija boards, but what about her friends? I know Allie was interested in Ouija boards, but what about her friends? Why was Allie interested in Ouija boards? The girls were interested in Ouija boards, and they are all haunted by someone named the Deacon. Could there be a connection? You coming?
Yeah, sure.
Whoa! Hold on there. You want to go in, I gotta clear you first.
I'd like to see Susan Lee, please.
Sure thing, you're cleared. Go right in.
Hi, Susan. So, do you like Bellevue?
It's okay.
I used to come here every week to visit my aunt, you know.
I don't think she cares.
Well, anyway, I'm just saying, I've spent a lot of time here. You don't have to be scared of me. Susan, can you listen to me? You're not crazy. I know what happened. You summoned the Deacon with a Ouija board.
No, that didn't really happen.
Susan, you don't have to pretend. I believe you.
You do?
Whatever happened, I believe you.
He still comes to me. The drugs keep him away during the day, but when I sleep, he enters my head and he won't stop screaming. I thought I was crazy, but Joanne and Allie, how could it happen to all three of us? It's impossible.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
The Deacon is real?
I believe so, yes.
Are you here to help me?
I'm going to try.
Thank God. I was ready to die here, but...
I know. Can I ask you some questions about what happened?
Sure. Ask whatever you want.
The lady playing Susan here, her name is Jennifer Astaris. I actually met her through Sandy Chen, the girl playing Rosa. It's sort of very, very incestuous, all these voice actors. But Sandy was hosting some game industry party downtown on the Lower East Side, and I met Jennifer there. And just in talking to her, I could sort of tell that she had done voice acting or something with her voice, because she just spoke really well. And it was very, I don't know how to quite explain it, but it was very stylized, I guess, the way she spoke. And I said, hey, do you do voice acting? And she said, yes, I do. And she was an opera singer as well. So I asked her, I said, hey, would you want to do a voice for my game? And so she said, yeah. So I got her card, I brought her over. And her reaction to the character description when I sent it to her, she said it was yummy. I'm not quite sure what that means, but apparently that means she liked it, because she was willing to do the role. So that's Jennifer.
Can you tell me anything about Joanne?
Joanne wanted to save the world, but she couldn't even save her friends. After Allie went,
Joanne couldn't take it. She blames herself, but it's not her fault. I don't blame her for it. Any of it. It was only luck that I ended up here and didn't die.
Do you know why Joanne killed herself?
Yes, the Deacon. He got in our heads. His voice keeps pleading, babbling. Nothing shuts him up. Just keeps going. I just wanted quiet. Peace and quiet. That's why Joanne jumped off the roof. She was willing to give anything to just keep him quiet. Even her life.
Was Kelly involved in any of this?
Kelly? Joanne's roommate?
Yeah.
No. She always left when we came over. She didn't like us much. But that's okay. We didn't like her either.
Can you tell me anything about Alex?
Alex was my boyfriend, I guess. But since I came here, he won't see me anymore. Just as well. The jerk.
Can you tell me about Allie?
Allie. Oh, I miss her so much. The sweetest, funniest person in the world. You couldn't help but smile with her around. She was always dragging us out on some adventure. She was so different. Every other girl had pictures of boys on their walls. She had pictures of dogs. She loved dogs. She was studying to be a vet to take care of them. And now she can't. She was the first of us to go. Why is that? How come the strongest of us was the first to break down?
We've already established this. I don't need to bring it up again. So what happened to you, Susan? What did the Deacon do to you?
The same thing he did to the others. Got into my head and just wouldn't keep quiet. It was just so noisy inside my head. I had to do something. I saw the speeding taxi, and I just... well, you know, here I am.
Were you hurt?
No. The driver hit the brakes in time. Taxi missed me completely. Then the stupid cop on the corner dragged me here. Can't even kill myself right.
I have to go now, Susan, but I'll come back to check on you again.
Mm-hmm.
Look, Joey, it's starting to get dark.
Yeah, I can see that. Was it the darkness that gave it away?
I'm just saying. I'd like to see Susan Lee, please.
Sure thing, you're cleared. Go right in.
Hi, Susan.
Hi, it's good to see you again.
How are you now, Susan?
Better. It's nice to know I'm not crazy.
Yeah, that's a good feeling.
It's just... these drugs. The meds help keep the Deacon's voice low, and that's good. But they also cause water retention, and I have to take a diuretic pill to fix that. And I'm just sick of peeing all the time. Now that I know I'm just haunted and not really crazy, I don't see why I have to take it. I don't care if I retain water and get fat. I just want to stop peeing.
Is she for real?
I've been palming the pills. Is that bad?
I can't answer that.
Well, I was hoping you could do me a favor.
What?
Can you take the pills out of here? I'm scared the orderly will find them. Please?
Fine, give them to me.
You are such a chump.
Thanks so much.
I racked my brains to try to come up with some sort of puzzle to get the pills away from Susan. And I couldn't think of one, at least not one to keep it logical. And eventually I just bit the bullet and had Susan just give him to you. So that was that. That was my little cop-out.
So, Susan, could you tell me what brought you here?
I don't know. They think I'm crazy.
Are you? Crazy, I mean.
I don't know. They think so.
I have to go now, Susan, but I'll come back to check on you again.
Mm-hmm.
Joey crashes yet another photograph. He doesn't look happy. Hey, Joey.
What is it, dear?
Let's talk some more about Auntie Lauren.
Like I said, kid, later. We've got stuff to do first.
I'd like to talk about my grandmother again.
Don't you let up.
You destroyed her life.
Yeah, I got enough of that from your aunt.
Hey!
Oh, shut up. You Blackwells and your goddamn self-pity. All I hear is, poor us, poor us. I'm sick of it. Ever think about what it was like for me? One minute I was breathing, and the next, pow, dead. I was a ghost, forced to haunt a complete stranger. I had no idea what was going on. You'd think that someone up there would have told me what to do, but no. I was dead, cold, alone, and scared out of my mind. Nobody could see me. Nobody could hear me. Nobody except old Pattycakes Blackwell, and she didn't want to admit I was there. So don't you dare lecture me, sweetheart. You don't know from nothing. Forget it. Let's just concentrate on the case.
I think I've heard enough.
Yeah, let's get going.
Okay, I put the pills in the dog biscuit. You coming?
Yeah, sure.
Come in. Be nice, Moti. She's our neighbor. Come in. Are you all right, Rosa? You look a little preoccupied.
I'm fine.
That's odd. Moti never acts like that.
Oh, jeez. In case you haven't noticed, some animals can sense me. Are you getting a good look, Mutt? Boo!
What's gotten into you, Moti? I'm sorry, he must be sick or something.
It's all right. You said yesterday that you sense things.
Yes?
Could you tell me more about that?
Well, I'm not psychic or anything, if that's what you mean. I'm just observant. Anyone could tell something was wrong if they kept their eyes open. Speaking of which, care to tell me what's wrong?
What do you mean?
You look ill at ease, uncomfortable. The way your eyes keep moving back and forth. Is everything all right?
Say you're fine, kid.
I'm fine.
Yep, everything's just dandy.
Just dandy.
And could you stop looking at me? I mean, I know it's hard.
There's a guy, a friend of mine, his name is Dave Stedham, also known as Creed Malai on the Adventure Game Studio internet forum, and I had shown him this little bit of dialogue, and just a friend, and I was curious to get his opinion of it, and he just spouted out that last line, "Can you look at me? I know it's hard." And I just started laughing, and I said, "Hey, could I use that line?" And he said, "Sure, man, I'd be honored." So Abe was coming over the next day to record some dialogue, so I had him just record the line, and I stuck it in. So, Creed, that one's for you.
I see. Well, I'm here if you need me.
Well, I'd better go.
Take care, Rosa. Come back whenever you'd like.
Hey, boy. There's nothing to be afraid of, I hope. Go get it.
Oh, Moti, now? I just took you out an hour ago. Well, you're going to have to wait. I have my hands totally full. Unless... Rosa, would you mind taking Moti for a walk? If you're going to be friends, this is a good opportunity for you to bond.
Oh, sure. I don't mind at all.
Thank you so much. Moti gets cranky when he doesn't get his way. Just take him to the park until he goes. It shouldn't take long.
Right. Here you go, boy.
This puzzle here, again, another what was I thinking moment. You're poisoning a dog, basically, to get through here. And this is silly. This is adventure gamey and kind of a little ridiculous. This isn't something a normal, rational thinking person would do. One of my favorite game journalists, his name is Richard Cobbett. He wrote this wonderful article about adventure games and how adventure game characters, player characters, are complete sociopaths doing things that a rational person would never do. And this is a case of Rosa being a sociopath. Like, she's poisoning of someone's pet to solve a puzzle. And I really regret doing this because this is so not something she would really actually do. Sorry.
You're drugging innocent dogs now?
It's only a mild diuretic. It won't hurt him. And you're the one in such a damn hurry.
All right, point taken.
It's funny how 5 years later, no one has ever called me out on this really silly thing that I did. You might remember earlier in the game, a big deal was made about the dog and the leash. You had to wrap the leash around the pole. It was this big puzzle and everything. So a lot of attention was called onto the dog and the leash. And now, look, you're taking this dog to the dog park and there's no leash. This dog leash was such a pain in the neck to implement, as you probably heard me rant about it earlier, that I decided that I just wasn't going to do it at this point. And I just prayed that people would ignore it or forgive it or whatever. But no one seemed to notice it, or if they did, they weren't bothered enough by it to call me out on it. So this is my 5-year post-launch confession. So forgive me, please.
Hey there, Bright Eyes. It's me again.
Are you him?
No, I'm not, but I've brought some friends. Say hi to the kids, sweetheart.
Hi.
I don't think she wants to see me.
Sure she does. Go on, kid. Tell Ellie how much you want to see her.
Yeah, sure. Great to meet you.
See?
I don't believe you.
It doesn't matter if you believe me or not. She needs your help.
Help?
See the dog over there?
The Boston Terrier?
Good, good. You know your breeds. This Boston Terrier is not feeling too well. I was hoping that you could take a look at him.
Yes. Yes, I can. I know a lot about dogs.
So we heard. That's why we came to you.
But they won't let me help them. They always run away.
This one won't. Go on. The dog needs you.
So this is your dog, huh?
Yeah, sort of.
Hi, little guy. What's your name? Right. Aren't you the cutest little thing? Years ago, Trey. No signs of inflammation. Now I'm just going to open your mouth. That's odd. I don't feel any breath. I don't feel anything. Oh.
I'm sorry.
I remember. I'm dead.
Yep.
I killed myself. I had no choice.
Can you tell us what happened?
My friends and I, we played a game. A Ouija board. We thought it would be fun.
And you called something.
Yes. He called himself the Deacon. It's kinda hazy now, but I remember his voice in my head, screaming.
What did he say?
I don't know. It didn't make any sense. He just kept asking me to help him, but he wouldn't say how. I tried ignoring him, but he just got louder and louder until I took the pills and...
Shh. It's over now.
I know. So what now?
Now? Now, we're going to send you where you need to go. Here, take this, and hold on tight. You ready?
I guess so.
Good. Now pull. Yeah, you and me both.
Ow. Hello?
Yeah, hi!
I'm not sure if we've met. I'm Rosangela.
I know! You brought the dog to me! You brought me back to my senses. And then you brought me here. Thanks so much!
So, are you ready to, well, you know.
Am I ready to die?
Well, yeah. Sorry, I'm kinda new at this.
That's okay. I'm gonna make it easy for you. Just tell me what to do.
Just head towards that light.
The light. Right. Like every cliche in the book. You think I'll see Joanne over there?
I'm sure you'll find whatever it is you want to find.
Yeah, I suppose you're right. And hey, you'll make sure Susan's okay, right?
Sure.
Well, here goes. See ya.
See ya. Ugh.
You're awake. That didn't take too long.
She just went. She seemed happy about it.
Yeah, sometimes you'll get easy ones. The ones who are all too happy to move on. Others, well, you'll see. Anyway, let's get this dog back before your neighbor calls the police. Our work is not over yet.
She is so going to kill me.
Just a minute. Oh, there you are. I was just about to go to bed.
I'm sorry we took so long.
Not to worry. Did you have fun, Moti? Did you have fun? Of course. Well, good night, Rosa. Thanks again for helping me out.
Strange lady.
Please be advised that visiting hours are now over.
Oh well, looks like we have to wait until tomorrow.
No can do, Toots. Remember what she said? The Deacon comes to her at night when she's sleeping. Waiting until tomorrow won't do us any good.
What? You think we can just waltz right into Susan's room?
Sure.
How?
Improvise, sweetheart. That's what this gig is all about.
If there was anything that would have delayed the release of this game, it would have been importing the voice clips. It took so long. I actually took a week off from debugging simply to import the voice clips, and I still didn't get it done. I'm talking a full week, 5 to 8 hours every day importing voice clips and still not getting it done. That's how many voice clips are in this game. There are at least, Rosangela alone has about 2,000. Joey has about 1,000. All the other incidental characters maybe have 100 or 200 apiece. And it just took so long, and I would just be sitting there, it'd be like 3 in the morning, importing voice clips, hearing Sandy and Abe and Shen and everyone in my frigging sleep. It takes a long time. So that is a little bit of warning for you guys. If you ever plan on pursuing this crazy thing that I'm doing, voice importing takes a long time. So be warned.
I don't think I need any of these other keys. You need a key to open it. Fuse box key? I could probably do something with this.
There's a lot of adventure game cliches that are considered cardinal sins if you put them in your game. There's mazes, that's one. The paper under a door to get a key puzzle, that's considered a cardinal sin, even though I've done that myself in later games. And another one is the forced stealth section. That is considered a no-no, and a lot of people had trouble getting past this section because they couldn't get to that. They didn't click fast enough on that little alcove before the guard comes by. And I guess this is kind of a forced puzzle. The problem with it is that, how forgiving is and understanding is this guard? If you could do this puzzle like 20 times and the guard will be like, oh, and he doesn't like kick you out or call the police or arrest you or detain you or anything. That's kind of adventure game logic for you, which is kind of a no-no. Again, kind of some bad design choices on my part. Again, this was my very first game 5 years ago, so hopefully I can be forgiven here.
Now you've done it. You better find a place to hide quick.
Whoa, you startled me. You'd better leave, miss. I can't be held liable for your safety until the lights are repaired. I'll get the elevator for you.
There's a lot of adventure game cliches that are considered.
You better find a
She's asleep.
Yeah, like a baby. It won't be long.
Before what?
Before that.
Please, please, can't you help me? Please. I don't know what to do. I don't want to burn. Please. The others are gone. You're the only one. Please. You can't hear me here, but you can hear me in your dreams. Please. Wake up and help me. It's out there. Watching. Waiting. Susan. Susan. You called me. You can help me. Ahem. Ignore them, Susan. Listen to me. Help me. Please.
Hey!
Ignore them, Susan. Listen to me. Help me. Please.
I'm talking to you, clown shoes.
You're talking to me?
The Deacon is a real person, believe it or not. The Deacon actually existed. There is a record of the Deacon existing, and I won't tell you where. I guess I can have a little contest. Whoever can tell me where the Deacon is mentioned, where it's a matter of sort of historical record, sort of, maybe, kinda. But when I read about him, I knew it was someone I wanted to write about. Yeah, so he really does exist. I won't tell you where. I will not tell you where. You have to figure that out for yourselves, guys. Sorry. The first one to email me with the correct answer will win. I guess you'll win bragging rights, because presumably if I can't give you a free copy of the game, because if you're listening to this, you presumably would have already bought a copy of the game. So you'll get a special mention on my website if you happen to get the answer. In the original commentary for this game, I kind of was very deliberately enigmatic about where I first heard about the Deacon. He's sort of loosely based on someone who I assume existed. If you've played future Blackwell games, you will have met the characters of Joseph Mitchell and Joe Gould. And Joseph Mitchell wrote, they're both real people, and Joseph Mitchell wrote a biography about Joe Gould, an autobiography about himself, while interviewing Joe Gould. And one of the stories Joe Gould told Mitchell was about some crazy career drunk who called himself the Deacon, who was convinced that the devil was after him and going to drag him to hell. And something about that character resonated with me, and I imagined this ghost of that same Deacon who was worried about being dragged to hell. And especially if you're a dead person, you're going to worry about that kind of thing. So I turned into this character here.
Yeah, so can you calm down long enough to tell me what's going on?
I can't. You're like me.
What do you mean?
Dead. Like me.
Wait a minute. Just a goddamn minute. You know you're dead?
Yes.
Well, that certainly saves time. We can help you. Here, grab a hold of this.
No. Get that away from me.
What the hell is wrong with you? You need saving. We're here to save you. What's the problem?
I can't.
What are you so scared of? You're stuck, right? We can help you move on.
No. I don't want to.
You don't want to?
No, I'm afraid.
Oh, you're afraid, are you? You believe this guy?
What do you want?
Safety. Sanctuary. It's following me. Waiting. Watching. Trying to take me. But it hasn't caught me yet. Not yet.
Yeah, whatever. This guy's off his nut. Let me handle this, baby doll. I know how to speak to spooks like this.
What hasn't caught you?
It. I see it everywhere. In every shadow. In every corner. Why is it after me? Why?
The soft touch ain't gonna cut it, sweetheart. You're too green. Let me show you how it's done.
Who is after you?
It! Haven't you ever seen him?
Forget it, kid. He isn't listening. We're wasting our time. He knows he's dead. We don't need kid gloves to handle this. Let me take over.
Sure, do it your way.
All right, Mac. Spill. You've scared these girls literally to death, and I want to know why. What are you so afraid of?
I don't want to burn!
Burn? Oh, I get it. You think you're going to hell.
The devil himself. He told me, please don't make me go.
You're scared of the devil, huh?
Yes!
Yeah, well, I don't see any devil. There's just you and me. And you know what? I'm worse than any devil you'll ever see.
Hey!
I've been doing this for 40 years, bucko. Every ghost I meet goes to their final rest, one way or the other. You're scared? I don't give a rat's ass. 2 people are dead because of you. So take the damn tie and let's get this over with.
No! You can't make me! Don't make me burn, please!
Hurts, don't it?
How?
Ghosts aren't supposed to feel pain, but I've learned some tricks. Now take the damn tie.
Joey has evolved over the years. He first was seen in a freeware game of mine called Purity of the Surf. It was a reality on the norm game, and I kind of included Joey in there as a way to promote my next freeware game called Bestowers of Eternity. And he originally was kind of the wacky sidekick. He had the suit and he had the hat. He just kind of cracked a lot of jokes and all that stuff. And I always kind of intended for him to be a little serious. He just never came across as being serious. And when I wrote this game, I purposely made him not so funny. He's not funny. Even when he does make a joke, and he does say some pretty funny things, it's kind of as a way to mask a little bit of bitterness. Like, a lot of the jokes are based on some kind of bitterness, or it's just a way to kind of mask inner feelings, that kind of thing. So that's sort of where the jokes come from. I'm not sure if that comes across or not, but that's sort of my intention. And Abe did it very well. Like, sometimes he would Abe is a very funny guy. If you listen to the bloopers, Abe is a funny guy. And so a lot of the times I would have to hold him back. I said, don't be so wacky. Don't be so wacky when you say that line. Say it a little sarcasm, think more Edmund Blackadder than Jim Carrey. Or Rowan Atkinson than Jim Carrey. And more deadpan, more sarcastic and biting. And that's sort of the idea there. And here especially, Joey is not being funny. He's laying a smackdown on the poor Deacon there, and he finally gets a chance to let loose. And I kind of like this idea here because I wanted to show that Joey has a freaking violent side, and you can't get more violent than grabbing someone by their shirt and punching them in the stomach multiple times. So I think I made that pretty clear.
Joey, stop it.
You want to handle this? Go right ahead. Let's see you do any better.
I know a safe place. You can hide there.
Really? Where is it?
Not far, but you'll have to trust us.
Trust you? Why should I trust you?
Because nobody else has offered to help you before, right?
Yeah.
You ask and ask for help, but nobody answers, right?
No. Nobody answers.
Well, we have. We're gonna help you. Has anybody else said the same?
No. No, they haven't. I think... I'm so tired of running. If you say you can help me, I believe you. What needs to be done?
Just listen to my friend.
Here, just take the tie. You know what to do. I can't believe she pulled that off.
Ow.
You were right. I feel safe.
Are you ready?
Yes, I really think so. It's really nice out here. Almost like...
At last, I have found you.
No! You lied to me!
What?
It's here! You lied!
What's that? Oh, crap! Joey? Joey! Get me out of here!
Stay away. Stay away!
There's nowhere to go. You cannot return to the mortal world. You can only go through me. Accept the punishments for your sins and come with me.
Help me, please! You brought me here! You have to save me! You have to!
Fool, no one can save you now. I'll give you a moment to prepare for the eternity to come, but then you are mine.
For those of you who can't tell, that voice is actually me. I did the voice of that demon, and it was something I decided to do when I came up with the character. And this was so much fun to play, because I can actually walk you through the process right here. First, I would talk in a growly voice like this, and then I would use Audacity and lower the pitch by 16%. And then when I was done with that, I would add an echo to my voice. Ha 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 ha! Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I'd do it again. I hope I can use this character once more.
What is that thing?
It's come to take me to hell! Just like it always said it would.
Excuse me?
Converse with me not. I shall give him time to prepare himself for the eternity to come. But then, he is mine.
How did you get here?
What is here? It is but an abstract concept to one such as I. I move at the power of thought, at the speed of death. Once my business is concluded, I shall trouble you no more.
Why are you after this man?
For his sins. All this time, he has not renounced them. Even after these many years of death, he still carries them with him.
Can't you just let him go?
He has killed many with his madness. His sins weigh him down even as we speak. Ask yourself, does he deserve mercy?
No, you might be right.
What? She speaks wisdom, worm. You are totally without redemption, and you know it. Collect yourself, for the time draws near.
What is that thing?
I don't know. It haunted my dreams when I was alive and wouldn't leave me alone after death. And now, there's no place left to run.
What is that in your pocket?
My flask.
Yeah, what's in it?
Nothing. It's just a force of habit, I guess. Used to keep whiskey in it when I was alive.
So what can I do? What does he want?
He wants me. I don't know why.
What is that in your pocket?
My flask.
Yeah, what's in it?
Nothing. It's just a force of habit, I guess. Used to keep whiskey in it when I was alive. Please, help!
What is that in your pocket?
My flask.
Yeah, what's in it?
Nothing. It's just a force of habit, I guess. Used to keep whiskey in it when I was alive.
Excuse me?
Converse with me not. I shall give him time to prepare himself for the eternity to come. But then, he is mine.
Can't you just let him go?
He has killed many with his madness. His sins weigh him down even as we speak. Ask yourself, does he deserve mercy?
Yes?
You may think so, but your heart does not believe it. You have witnessed the results of his actions with your own eyes.
The deacon is carrying his sins, and the deacon is carrying his flask. Could this be symbolic? Get rid of that flask.
Huh?
Your flask! Get rid of it!
My flask? Why?
Just do it!
But I can't.
Why not?
Because it's my flask.
You want to be free of that demon? Trust me.
Oh, okay.
You no longer carry your sins with you, dead one, but they still taint this place. That is not enough to save you. It is done. The sins have been abolished from this place. And my claim on you, dead one, is gone. Move on in peace, and be troubled no more.
In the design document for the game, for this scene, I had written, Rosa convinces the deacon that the demon is a metaphorical representation of his inner demons. Yeah, it's easy to write, not as easy to expand upon. And this was my biggest trouble. I wanted to have that demon there, if only because I wanted the ending lacked something. It needed something climactic, and having a big friggin' ass demon there, you know, about to rip someone's soul apart, you can't get more climactic than that. And but I was having trouble figuring out how this was going to play, and I had written every single line of dialogue for the entire game, and or at least the majority of it, and I was stuck with this. I couldn't figure it out, and finally, I just kind of, out of frustration, I just said, well, you know, forget the deacon. I'm just gonna write some dialogue with the demon, and I just started writing and blah blah blah, and I wrote the line, he is still carrying his sins with him. It just kind of came out, and then it was like, ding, the light bulb appearing above my head. The whole puzzle just clicked right into place. After weeks and weeks of frustration, I finally figured it out. And that's some advice for you guys. If you're having trouble getting your mind around a certain puzzle, if something doesn't work right, or if something just doesn't, you know, you can't quite get it to fit, try working on a different aspect. Try switching gears. That definitely helped me get this puzzle down well. Helped me get it down pat, and I quite like the way it turned out.
He's gone?
I think so.
He's gone. I'm free of him. I'm really free. All this time. It's all so clear to me now. Like my head was full of cobwebs and now they're gone. All those people who died. They killed themselves because of me.
It's all right.
No, it's not all right. I didn't know what I was doing. But that doesn't excuse it. I spent most of my life as a drunk, and most of my death as a murderer. I was worried about going to hell before. Maybe I'm okay with that now that I know I might deserve it.
Maybe there isn't a hell.
It's too late for that. You see, I was a religious man once, before disease took my wife away, and I took to the bottle. If I'm going to hell, well then maybe I can still spread the word of God there. Do some good for once. Well, this is it. Goodbye, and thanks.
Jesus Christ, kid, you alright?
Yeah, I'm fine.
What took you so long?
It got a little complicated.
Well, I'm just glad you're okay.
Let's get out of here. I need some air.
I know the perfect place.
He's at peace now, I guess. Wherever he is. I saved him, I think. Gave him some hope at least.
He's getting no more than he deserves. No more than any of us deserve.
I guess.
I really wished I could have popped him one more time. He really hacked me off.
Is that your answer to everything?
Don't you start judging me. You managed to pull it off. I'm impressed. I'm just glad you're okay.
Joey?
Yeah?
Why did Auntie stop?
Stop what?
Stop doing this. This ghost saving or whatever it is we do.
Oh. It was you.
Me?
She wanted to take care of you. Wanted to do it right, she said. Stop listening to me. Stop saving the ghosts. Just put all her effort into taking care of you.
And then she fell into that weird coma.
Yeah.
I see. I guess there's a lesson in that.
Is there?
Yeah.
I gave some thought to editing or changing this ending when I was re-recording the lines, and in the end I decided to keep it. I felt very strongly about this ending when I first made it 5 years ago, and even when I was designing the game, I knew the game would end like this. Though I think it might have been a little too clever, or not clever exactly, but maybe too subtle and kind of oblique and mysterious for its own good. I think that was one of my major weaknesses back then, is that I tried to be very clever, like with the Deacon and all this stuff, like, you know, just stuff that, oh, they'll get it later, which I think is a mistake. But anyway, I think I like this ending because it's... Joey kind of gives this reveal about the aunts and how Rosa now quietly accepts this new position in her life. Like, this is going to be her life from now on. And that, at the end just kind of conveys all of that. Since I was re-recording it anyway, I kind of redid that one word several times just to get it just the way I wanted it, and I still like it. I still like this ending. A lot of people don't like it. They felt it ended too abruptly. They thought it should have been punchier. There was more that could have been said. Screw that. I'm keeping it like it is.
There's hundreds of confused spirits out there, sweetheart, and there's nobody else who can help them. There's just us, bestowing eternity on every sob story out there, one lost soul at a time, whether we want to or not.
So obviously it's been 5 years since I released this game, and it's interesting just revisiting this game 5 years later, because things are a lot different now. I mean, the company is bigger, we've got a lot more games under our belt, we've been published by a major publisher once, and we are now publishing other people. It's now a real business, and it's weird, because I'm in that weird position sometimes where I'm spending most of my day doing business stuff than game development stuff. And when I think back to Blackwell Legacy, my work was the game and nothing else. I didn't think about business stuff. I didn't think about marketing or PR or how I was going to sell the game. I was just making the game, and that was it. Life was a lot simpler then. And that sounds weird and cliche and esoteric, but it is true. And it was very nice to revisit that part of my life. And it has been an amazing 5 years since this game came out. I certainly didn't expect to be doing this, still be doing this 5 years later. No one's more surprised than me. And I really owe it all to you guys, of course, who, especially those of you who bought this game when it first came out 5 years ago and have come back game after game after game, obviously saw something really good in it, despite all the flaws that I've mentioned over the course of this commentary. It's nice to know that despite my inexperience, despite my shooting blind in terms of design, that I did more right than wrong. And you guys like the games and keep coming back. And that means more to me than anything else. And that's really all I can say. I know this is very esoteric and strange, but all I can say is thank you. I think I said thank you in the original commentary. I'm saying it again. Thank you. It's been an amazing 5 years. I hope to be back again in another 5 and another 5 after that. I will be doing this as long as I can. And that's really all I can say. Thanks again.